So we've got Robert Walsh on assignment in Miami Gardens, Florida for Thursday Night Football. Do we expect a full report of what happens between the Ravens and the Dolphins, two mighty two-win teams squaring off in Week 9 to get the NFL season started? I don't know if he'll be in any kind of shape. God knows we won't be able to find him if the Ravens lose. But we're happy to be with you for the next 3 hours, Lucas and me. Ross is here to breathe heavily into the microphone. Good morning, boys. How's morale?
Good morning, Ross.
Good morning, Lucas.
Happy to have you.
Thank you.
Ravens 7.5-point favorites on the road at Hard Rock Stadium. The return of Lamar Jackson. Godspeed to you, Robert. Cheyenne, please take care of our boy.
Oh, is she down there with him?
Yeah.
I thought this was a boys' trip. He's staying with a buddy in Orlando and then driving down to Miami because I had to call him about some stuff this morning.
I thought they were both going and meeting up with like a couple friend of theirs.
It's possible. It is possible. Either way, I would not wish that on Cheyenne. I know Cheyenne also roots for the Ravens because I feel like Robert would leave her if he didn't or if she didn't. But I don't know how that's going to go, nor would I want to be. Like, I think it would be fun to go with him to a game, but then I would not want to be around him for, I think I would last about a quarter with him. I think it would be a lot.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I'd rather go to an ECU game with Robert.
Yeah, something that's not going to emotionally ravage him the way that his NFL team does. Like at the Vols game, fun. At a Ravens game, probably a little too much. Titans on the practice field yesterday. We did talk to Cam Ward. We'll get to some Cam Ward analysis from Greg Cosell here in just a minute. Greg had a lot of thoughts, and we broke down 4 specific plays. You're going to hear about half of the podcast on the radio show, and then you can get the rest of the analysis on today's episode of The Install that is available. Ross?
Indeed, it's up on podcast right now.
Look at you working ahead. Lucas said he's happy to see you, but then he avoided you and didn't come in until 9:53 this morning.
I had things to do.
It did hurt.
Tony Pollard on the injury report, limited.
They're all on the injury report.
Chigakonkwo, limited. Dan Moore did not practice with the shoulder.
Yeah.
James Lynch, limited shoulder. Arden Key did not practice again
How
with
many
the quad.
Titans fans said who to James Lynch?
I wonder if Arden Key had some kind of setback because he was limited at some point last week, right? He returned to practice in some capacity.
Yep.
So, and then Darrell Baker Jr. limited in concussion protocol. And that continues to add to the Titans' cornerback issues.
So it'll be, I had to learn a bunch of new names and new numbers yesterday walking into the locker room because obviously McCreary's gone. There's different people who have been shoved into different places in the locker room. So it's kind of a disorienting experience, but none more so for people like Chigakonkwo, who's the last player left out of 3 Titans drafts, the last 3 Titans drafts under John Robinson. He is the sole remaining member of the 2022 Titans draft class, which of course was John's last go at it. So we asked Chigakonkwo what it was like yesterday in the locker room, and he gave a very Clay Davis from The Wire type of answer.
Has that been something that hits you at all? Is that something you reflect on at all? I remember back when we first got out there, I was wondering who's going to be the last one standing, and it's just me. So that's got to stand for something that I've done here. So I think that's pretty cool. It is weird, all my friends are slowly fading away, but I'm happy for Roger. I'm happy for Jarvis, getting on, being able to, take a talent somewhere else. But, yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I'm just trying to play ball.
What do you think the future holds for you here? It's a big week. This is a big week.
We'll see this week, man. I'm going to go out there and try to make sure I stay a Titan for life.
All my friends are slowly fading away.
I really did not want to have to bleep that because it is hilarious.
Yeah, that one hits hard if you're that one friend who everybody else is getting like married and having kids. All my friends are fading.
I mean,
that's hilarious.
Every time I walk into the locker room, I know less people. I can't imagine how it feels to be a player drafted to this organization, and he's just looking around and saying, yeah, I got nobody left at this point. And the thing so the Titans haven't done what the Ravens did, right? Because we kind of laughed and joked a little bit about the Ravens taking a ping pong table out of the locker room or whatever, and I don't think that's the reason they won a football game against the Bears. But Bullock was in here yesterday talking about the idea of having to teach younger players a lesson about the intensity that you bring to your job. And he told the story of two younger players. I can't remember if they were rookies or not. He didn't name them specifically, but them playing like a game of Mario Kart in the locker room, pausing it, but to go to a meeting and then coming back and playing Mario Kart again. And Bullock was not happy.
He unplugged it.
Well, he unplugged it and apparently smashed the console.
So great.
So I think different, and I don't know if you do that in today's NFL and have the kind of results that you're looking for. Because, Lucas, they still have Pop-A-Shot, they still have Foursquare, they still have ping pong in the locker room. And Chigakonkwo seems to be the only one who's got a smile on his face every day when we walk in the locker room, and God bless him for it. It would be easy for everybody in there to be miserable. And I don't know what fans expect or want out of players in that situation where, I don't know, I'm sure there's a contingent of fans who would be like, yeah, I want you to be as miserable as we are watching this. You don't win. You don't get Pop-A-Shot or Foursquare or ping pong in the locker room. And then the other side of this is, well, yeah, but I don't fault somebody for just trying to find some level of joy in their job on a day-to-day basis. And if they need to play a couple of games of ping pong to loosen up between meetings, like, I don't know. I don't know what the balance between that is, because the Ravens obviously are like, no nonsense, get it out of here, win football games, and then you'll get your ping pong back. Titans, a little different.
Yeah, I mean, very different. It's a no-win situation, right? If you're laughing and chuckling in the locker room, then you don't care about wins or losses. And
Is
otherwise, the perception. And then if you're just down all the time, that's also not something that seems very conducive for success, right?
Which is what you tell me all the time.
What?
Nobody cares about your complaining. Shut up and do the show.
Exactly. So it's a no-win situation. And that's just what this season kind of is. And we go week to week trying to evaluate the things that we can. Like, it sucks. It sucks to not feel like the Titans are an any given Sunday team, to feel like they are going to be outmanned regardless of who they share the field with. And you're kind of left just saying, okay, what can we take away from this game? Another week of Cam Ward with these rookie pass catchers. Another week looking at these young defensive players that hopefully, if they can survive the next few days, will be foundational pieces, the Cedric Grays, the T'Vondre Sweats of the world, the Kevin Winston Jr.'s as he gets more defensive snaps. But that's where we are heading into November.
Taylor on YouTube, where you can interact with the show, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, if you're so inclined, says Pop-A-Shots for winners. I guess, man. I don't know. Like, nobody's going to feel bad for them necessarily because they lose and they're bad at this, and you want them to be better, and you expect football players to have that kind of intensity no matter what you're doing, I guess. But I don't actively wish them to be miserable for the sake of winning games, because I don't think that them being miserable or not having something to break it up in the locker room is going to make a difference between them winning or losing games. Like, the Chargers are 9.5 point favorites
8.5
at Nissan Stadium on Sunday, and Herbert's got his left tackle back, and the Titans don't have anybody rushing the passer. And
it's 9.5 now.
I don't know if that makes a difference. Like, I don't think that the ping pong table is going to make a difference between them losing or beating the Chargers.
You said they don't have their left tackle?
No, they're getting their left tackle back, which obviously makes a difference.
They got him back last week. Yeah, they do not have their right tackle still.
Right.
He's out for the season.
And we saw how big a difference Joe Alt makes and what they're trying to do in terms of running the football and just keeping Herbert upright. And it wasn't pretty for them, but it was efficient, and it was a gritty Jim Harbaugh type win, and they just went and stuck the Vikings in the ground and made Carson Wentz have to end his season at this point in time. Maybe his career. I don't know. The amount of things that happened to Carson Wentz in that game that were reported after the fact, like the level of injuries that he sustained throughout that and wanted to continue to play, is, I think, enough to put a normal human being down.
A lot of former Titans coming back to Nissan Stadium this weekend.
Have either of you seen the bye week score graphics on Twitter by chance? It's like Browns lose 35-0 to the bye week. Have y'all seen those graphics at all?
I have, yes.
What do we think the Titans scores are going to be? Because someone's going to make a graphic.
What would the Titans be favored at home against the bye week?
Doubt it.
Have we passed a calendar year since they've won a home game? When was the Patriots win?
Ooh.
November.
Early November?
Yes.
So if they don't win
at home for another month.
Right. But
November 3rd, 2024.
So if they don't win at home against the Chargers, we will have eclipsed a calendar year since the last Tennessee Titans win in front of a home crowd at Nissan Stadium. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Now, there are things, slow burn though they might be, that can be encouraging, God help me, about the Tennessee Titans. And Cosell highlighted a handful of Cam Ward plays that we're going to go through with you coming up next while we play you a portion of the Install podcast. I'm Buck Rising, 24.5 The Zone. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is here to help you if you're dealing with performance issues. Erectile dysfunction can wreck your confidence. It can impact your relationship, your mental health, and even your sense of identity. But the good news is the Tennessee Men's Clinic has been helping thousands of guys since 2014 get back to feeling like themselves. These aren't cookie-cutter treatments that they offer. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is urology-based and staffed with multiple licensed providers who specialize in men's sexual health. They use proven treatments tailored to your specific situation. No one size fits all. Whether you're dealing with mild or moderate ED, performance issues, or even conditions like Peyronie's disease, their medical team will work with you to create a plan that gets results, often with options most men didn't even know were out there. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes a full medical consultation, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose right there in the office. So call today at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090 or book easily online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. We are going to hear some Cam Ward analysis that is going to make you happy, because there's not a lot of things about the Tennessee Titans that make you happy lately, but Cosell was very encouraged by what he saw on tape, and you'll hear a portion of that here in just a second. We also have some sound from the governor of Louisiana to get to that Lucas is very excited about. What do you know about the governor of Louisiana?
Oh, previously nothing. I've learned what he sounds like. That's the extent of it, and it's amazing.
Like a cartoon character. It's one of the most ridiculous. Did you tweet the polls?
Oh, nobody did. You didn't. You should.
Yeah, you were here early today. Why didn't you tweet them?
Because that's not my job.
Oh,
But
sure.
It comes from your
From your
account.
account, so. I'm not sure what the disconnect is here.
Perhaps the polls will miraculously appear during the commercial break. But I am looking forward to playing this this Louisiana state governor sound for you, because it has to do with the hiring of the next LSU coach. And it is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. Either way, Cosell, we taped the new podcast this morning. We're going to play about half of it for you so you can get some good Cam Ward analysis. And if you want the rest, you can subscribe to the podcast wherever it is that you get your podcasts. Welcome into the install with Greg Cosell of NFL Films. Greg, good to have you for another week. Things not obviously going the Titans' way as far as the record goes. Trade deadline is right around the corner, and they've started to move some parts here. But
Sure.
I was really encouraged by the fact that not only did Mike McCoy at the podium on Monday after the Colts game have really glowing praise for Cam Ward, but you very rarely go out of your way to text me before we do the podcast.
Right.
Not generally, but like about specific plays, about things that you're excited about.
I just, I'm just grinding away watching tape. I don't normally text.
I think the most relatable thing for you to say there would be that the audience would identify with the idea that you don't want to talk to me more than you have to during the week. I understand, buddy. It's okay. I get it. I really do.
Right.
But you did seem excited about the idea that Cam Ward, despite the margin of defeat, came away with one of his more complete performances.
Without question. And just one quick overriding worldview that I think, and I know that this is hard for fans, but I think right now with the personnel staff that they have, they're veterans, they understand where this team is. The goal now is to acquire as many draft picks as possible, acquire as much talent as possible, because if we're being honest, as the personnel department knows, and like I said, fans don't like to hear this, but there are realities, it's a team that's talent deficient. So, people might look at Roger McCreary and say, oh, he's their slot corner, nice player. The point is, they're not going to sign him after this season. He's good, but not great. So let's just start accumulating draft picks. That's the overriding goal here. They need talent. They need players. So essentially, I think they've said that there's two guys that are untouchable. That's Ward and Simmons. And I think at that point, you're dealing with, hey, if a team makes an offer and you can get draft picks, we're good to go. So anyway, that's kind of the overriding view, because it's not really about, obviously, would they like to win on Sunday against the Chargers? Of course they would. But it's not really about that right now. It's about making sure that Cam Ward continues to develop into ideally a great player.
And to their credit, Greg, and I know, again, to your point, fans don't want to hear this when you want your football season to matter, and obviously it's been some time since the Titans have played meaningful games, but Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker have been straight up about this from the jump, essentially, that they want to accumulate, I believe they said, 30 picks in the next 3 drafts, and as many picks in the top 100 as they can get. I think somewhere between 10 to 12 was kind of their stated goal, if I remember correctly. So they've been up front with people about the idea that this is just going to take time, and that they've started to show some signs with the young offensive players. Now they can focus down the road on defense and kind of balance this thing out as we go. At least that's the hope, right?
That's the plan. And then you have to draft well. And obviously not every pick will be perfect, but you hope you draft well enough that players turn out to be good, or even an impact player, because you can get an impact player in the second or third round. That does happen in the league, as we know. So that's the plan. But anyway, the goal is, as we discussed, I guess when Coach Callahan got fired, that the focus has to be on making Cam Ward a great player. Whoever the coach is, however they go about it, that's got to be the plan. Because otherwise, unfortunately, as I said to you a few weeks ago, you and I would be having the same conversation in 2 or 3 years, and we don't want to be having that conversation in 2 or 3 years, nor do the fans. But I thought, let me try to put Cam Ward in context the way I look at quarterbacks. A lot of people might be aware of that if they've had a chance to come to our install, if they've heard me speak with you and on 3HL over the last number of years. There's certain things that I look for when you look at a quarterback that you have to be able to do in the NFL. We know that there's basics, and I'm giving a very Cliff Notes version, but we know that you have to be able to make the right decisions and throw the ball accurately. That would be the bottom line. But then there's so many things that go into that. And one of the things you have to be able to do in this league, especially as a pocket quarterback, and even though Cam can make some plays with movement, if he's going to become a great player, it's going to be because he becomes a precision pocket quarterback. And one of those things is being able to deliver the football with bodies around you. You have to be able to deliver the ball from squeezed pockets because that's going to happen in this league. And as an overview of his game against the Colts, I thought he showed tremendous poise and composure in squeezed pockets. I mean, quite frankly, the O-line, despite being rebuilt to some degree, has not played up to the level that they've hoped. That's just the reality. So he's been under a lot of duress this year. And it's been mixed, being fair. The results have been uneven. There's been times he's been good and other times he's been not so good. And he'll have to continue to progress in that area. But I thought that on the first possession this week, it was 3rd and 10, and he hit DK, who, by the way, is really coming on, and I really liked his tape coming out of Florida. And I did get a chance to chat with him briefly when I was down there. Really impressive kid, as I'm sure you've probably had a chance to talk to him as well. Really impressive kid. I thought that was a great example of a couple of things. Number one, it's 3rd and 10. Very difficult down to convert in the National Football League, even for great quarterbacks. And what happened is the Colts ended up playing cover 2 that they got to by changing the picture, Buck, pre-snap to post-snap with late rotation, which not only can be a problem for a young quarterback, but that can be a problem for any quarterback. And you're seeing that more and more in the league where teams change the picture pre-snap to post-snap. Because now they're demanding that the quarterback be a post-snap operator. He's got to see that in the space of a beat because he doesn't have a lot of time. So that's the first thing. And Cam recognized that. And the second thing, the pocket got really squeezed on him. So he made the right throw. The concept was what we call dagger, where it's an inside vertical and a dig outside underneath it. And DK ran the dig. And he read it. He stood in there. He delivered the football, and there was a body. I think it was Moore that might have been pushed back into him, if I'm not mistaken. And literally when he threw the ball, you probably couldn't have put a piece of sandpaper between Moore and Ward. And he felt that. There's no question. Quarterbacks feel that stuff, but he didn't break down. He kept his eyes downfield, and he delivered a strike. And those are the kinds of things I look at that you have to be able to do in this league. And I thought right away, I said, haven't seen a lot of that this year. That's a really good sign. And that happened a number of times throughout the game, which is why I initially mentioned, Buck, the poise and composure. Because don't forget, this kid's been under a ton of pressure all year. It's very easy for quarterbacks look, I can go back years and years to tell you about quarterbacks that literally never got over the fact that they were under incredible duress as rookies and never could really get beyond that. And it's a hard thing.
Yeah, and he's managing the situation as best he can. Right now, Greg, he is the most sacked quarterback in football. And
right.
Again, we understand that some of these things are self-inflicted. Some of these things are offensive line. Some of these things are just good plays by the defense, well dialed up blitzes and things like that. Right. Just like interceptions, sacks have
right.
context. But it's a learning process for him. Now, this drive ultimately, this drive where he completed the pass on 3rd and 10, it ultimately ends in a sack, and they're not able to come away with points on that specific drive. But he did extend the drive and give them an opportunity as that game started. I want to go to another play in the first half that you mentioned, a throw to Alec Iamaner, a completion to Alec Iamaner in this game. That was a 1st and 10 play with 26 seconds left in the half that ended up being a 26-yard reception. What did you see? What was the concept?
This was a big time throw. This is an NFL throw right here. And it's 26 seconds, a 26-yard play. It was late in the first half, as you mentioned. And it was the middle was open. That's what we call when the safeties are split, we call middle open. So it was a seam throw by Ward. And again, it was a squeezed pocket because Moore got driven back into the pocket like Latu, but Ward stayed poised and he drove a strike with velocity and precise ball placement to Iomanair. That was one of those throws that you just go, wow, that's an NFL big time throw. Again, I don't watch press conferences. It would not have surprised me if Mike McCoy mentioned that play specifically, because it's just one of those plays, where you kind of go, wow, that's really good. So I don't know. Did he happen to mention that? I'd be curious.
He did actually, and
Yeah.
it was unfortunate because he was talking about within the context of the end of half, and obviously they were trying to get in
Okay.
field goal position. They missed the field goal and don't come away with points. But still, Mike McCoy was very encouraged about the fact that Cam Ward put them in that position.
Yeah, and that was big time throw. Now, there's one other play, just which a lot of people are probably looking at and saying, oh God, you got to make that throw. And that was an incompletion he threw to Iomanair where he was open. And probably people think, oh, you got to make that throw. Well, it's funny because Iomanair actually slowed down. He was not expecting the ball because he was not really the read on that play. And I'm sure fans are not aware of this. They probably think, oh, he's open, you got to make the throw. Jefferson on the outcut at the sticks was the primary read, and it was 3rd and 14. And Iomanair was really clearing out to create space underneath. And then the defense, unfortunately, did not play it properly. The half-field safety Moore just didn't react to Iomanair, but Iomanair slowed down. And then all of a sudden he's open and Ward sees it and he throws it and it looks like, oh my God, what a bad throw. He overthrows him. But that was not on Ward. That was on Iomanair. Even if you're a clear out guy, you can't slow down.
Yeah, and Mike McCoy also talked about that, Greg, because from our vantage point, at least in the immediate, right, it looked like a Cam Ward miss. And then you see the replay in the press box in the televisions above us, for those who aren't familiar with the press box setup, and you do see him kind of look up and not quite pause, but obviously he's not running full tilt.
No. So, like I said, you see it on TV, whether you're watching for a fan, in Nashville, whether you're watching on TV or you're at the game or whatever, the immediate response is, oh my God, Iomanair's wide open. Cam Ward's got to make that throw. But that's what happened on the play. So, I just want to give that some context because we know that Ward, has obviously been up and down this year and the team's not done well. And it's always easy to look at the quarterback and say, gee, did we make a mistake, with our draft and all that? How, all those conversations start. But that was not on Cam Ward.
A play that Cam did make is a 2nd and 10 in the second half of this game. Now, the Titans at this point are trailing 31-7, but obviously still trying to make something happen. He finds Chigakonkwo, the tight end, over the middle for a deep ball. It's a 23-yard gain.
Yeah, this is just a really good throw. The coverage, it was what we call two-man coverage. So what they're doing is they're playing 2 deep safeties and man coverage underneath. And normally when you play man coverage underneath in 2-man with 2 deep safeties, very often the man coverage guys can kind of play underneath routes because they know they have someone over the top. So they almost can try to undercut or tailgate routes is the term we use. And Okonkwo on this play, and it was 2nd and 10, so it's a long yardage situation. The linebacker matched him, the linebacker Johnson, a player who doesn't play a lot, but he was the linebacker there. I thought that, Okonkwo, he ran the dig route. He created separation out of his speed cut. And this is what you look for on throws like this. You look for where is the ball placed because you can get completions on these plays, but you want to give him the ball so he can run when he catches it. Okay. I can't tell you how many times I've seen completions where it's thrown on a guy's back hip. He gets tackled right away. It's still a completion. It still gains yards. It looks good in the box score. But he put it right out in front of Chig, and he allowed him to then continue and make it a 23-yard gain rather than, maybe a 15-yard gain. And all yards matter in the NFL. And that's what you look for with quarterbacks is where do they place the ball when receivers are relatively open by NFL standards? Do they give the receiver a chance to run after catch? Because the reality in the NFL, Buck, and maybe a lot of fans don't see it this way, but run after catch is a function of the quarterback 99% of the time, not the receiver. So you want to see the quarterback place the ball where the receiver can then run. He doesn't have to slow down. He doesn't have to reach back. He doesn't have to reach up or down. He can just keep going and run with the football. And that throw was placed perfectly.
Yeah, and Greg. So that is the first half of the install, where Greg is breaking down a handful of plays that show the kind of progress that Cam Ward's made. Is there any logic? By the way, you can check out the rest of the podcast, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, the install with Greg Cosell. Is it on YouTube?
It will be shortly.
Okay, very good. You can watch the whole episode after the fact if you want. Is it an extreme to say that we have seen, at least from an untrained eye standpoint, we have seen more progress, more tangible progress from Cam Ward in the last 2 weeks than we did the first 6?
No, I don't think that's extreme at all. I think you could argue that at the very least, 2 of his best 3 performances have come in the last 2 weeks. I think you have to lump in the Arizona game as his best performance, even if it's not from a 4-quarter standpoint. But the Titans haven't played 4 quarters of complete football all year. He stepped up when it mattered most in the 4th quarter, and that's kind of his signature moment this early in his NFL career. So, yeah, I think you kind of have to say that, right? Especially given that he's without Calvin Ridley and essentially is relying on 3 rookie 4th-rounders to drive this passing attack forward.
I almost don't want them to put Ridley back in the lineup. Like, maybe that's dumb to say, but, like, I don't want DK losing snaps for Calvin Ridley.
Doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon.
Wouldn't you think that Van's the one losing snaps, though? Like,
yes.
It's Calvin, Ellick, and Chim?
I would hope, but then does that relegate Chimere DK just to the slot?
I hope not, because I think they should use Calvin in the slot some, but that's just me.
That was the whole selling point on Ridley, the idea that he was being pigeonholed in Jacksonville and that they could move him around all over the place, and then that, I don't know necessarily that that's happened. I haven't looked at his Pro Football Focus snap counts in a while, like where he's deployed specifically, how much on the slot, how much X, how much Z in that particular situation. But I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm just kind of good with him working out there with the rookies. If they can't move Ridley and Ridley comes back at some point this season, obviously you put him out on the field. But I feel like you got a decent thing going right now, and you were missing opportunities with Calvin Ridley on the field.
13 catches for 168 yards and a touchdown for the rookie pass catchers last week. It's the 3rd highest total of the season by a 2025 rookie class.
So I saw a comment earlier while we were playing a portion of the podcast from Jael, who says, so the entire season is essentially practice for Cam Ward. Isn't that kind of what we came in this year thinking anyway? Like, I know it hasn't gone to plan, and you'd like for them not to be 1-7 or whatever, but it kind of is, hey, can you get this guy in-game reps so he can make progress and learn? I'm not saying that's excusable. Like, you want I hate for Titans fans that their football season doesn't matter the last 2 seasons. Like, that sucks. But the reality of the situation is you want the best version of Cam Ward for whenever it is that you're actually ready to make that jump. And so this is an uncomfortable part of the process for fans and for him because he's doing a lot of losing, but he is doing good things in the losing.
Yeah, that is to an extent what the season was always going to be, but
it was like a cop-out argument, though.
But it was supposed to be that for the entire football team, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of been relegated to that discussion, but really just for Cam and the rest of these younger players, like 1st, 2nd, maybe some 3rd-year guys that whenever this rebuild hits a place.
Not a lot of 3rd-year guys left, or not a lot of.
It's really just Chig.
We're getting down to the wire here. We talked to Tajay yesterday in the locker room because he is a 3rd-year guy, Tajay Spears. The idea that
Chig's a 4th year.
Chig is a 4th year. The idea that, like, how does the 2023 Titans draft class, the first one under Rand, not go the way of COVID draft 21-22? Where they're just stripping it down for parts. If I was a team, I'd be calling about Tajay Spears in a 2-year situation.
Yeah.
I think he makes a lot of sense for a lot of different teams as a change of pace back. But I thought it was admirable. Maybe it's just a thing that you say, like Chig Okonkwo's saying that he's trying to be a Titan for life. Same thing Jeff Simmons said, and I think Jeff means it when he says it. I'm not doubting him. But it was funny, and I won't name the players, but there was a bunch of players talking about the Myles Garrett situation in Cleveland. The idea of, would you take the money? Because somebody sitting in a locker brought up the idea that this dude had 5 sacks in a game and they still lost by, 19 or something to the Patriots. And essentially the argument was, do you want your legacy to matter or do you want the money? And that was a conversation being had in the Titans locker room yesterday, and they seem to be as split on it as a lot of people do. Like, I don't know what most normal people do when they're offered $45 million a year. Is that what Myles Garrett making ballpark $45 million, right?
Yeah, ballpark. Aiden Hutchinson now is in that ballpark, right, with Micah Parsons.
Hutchinson's right at $45 million a year. He's second to Parsons, who's $46 a year, I think. So they're all kind of in that mid.
He's right around
range.
there.
Yeah.
I don't know what a normal person would do in that circumstance. Myles Garrett is not a normal person. He gets to make a $40+ million a year decision if he wants to. Either way, you want to get to this governor sound?
Oh, yeah.
It's really good.
Right now?
Well, not right now. No.
I mean, you keep teasing
What time is it? What do you mean right now?
You keep teasing it.
I got a 1-7 football team. I got to give people reasons to be interested for an hour of Titans
it's your
talk.
Team? It's your team?
That's his, Russ. That's how this works.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
He's
It's
the
my
only
team?
one that suffered from it.
I'm trying to keep people's attention here. Okay, bud, if I got to tease this damn Louisiana governor sound
Just
for an
go to break.
hour, I'll do it. Unlike the changing leaves of fall, our money does not grow on trees. That's why you give Trajan Wealth a call today to ensure you're making the right financial moves for your future. Trajan Wealth is going to put you in position to succeed, or at least make you think differently about what your current plan is for wealth management strategies, for retirement planning, and for tactical investments. They will give you a second opinion for free on your current plan or give you the guidance required to put you in position to succeed for your future, to gain that financial independence that so many of us are seeking. When you meet with Trajan Wealth, you will get straight talk, not a sales pitch. You'll leave that meeting feeling empowered. They're fiduciaries, so their advice is built around what's best for you. You will become a client because you can see the difference tangibly when you meet with Trajan Wealth. So call them today at 615-270-5000. That's 615-270-5000, or visit them online at TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. This is a paid advertisement. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Lucas, 14 minutes till they open.
Yep. Download the Hattie B's app.
I kind of want it for lunch. The dreary weather makes me want warm food, comfort food. Makes me want mac and cheese.
Pimento mac and cheese.
Pimento mac and cheese.
Some banana pudding.
See, I could go either way on banana pudding. I'm not out on it necessarily, but it's not like my go-to dessert.
Theirs is good, man. It's
Theirs is
elite.
good.
Elite.
No, I will absolutely eat the banana pudding at Hattie B's. I'll eat just about everything on the menu.
You get a free dessert if you just download the app.
So you can do that today. You can start to build rewards points. The only thing that I will not eat is the shut the cluck up. I mean, I'll do it if we're on location and it's for a bit, but other than that, I'm good. I don't know how they did that hot chicken contest, the Titans rookies. I know there was money on the line, but tough scene. All right, we'll get to this Louisiana governor sound on why he doesn't want the athletic director of LSU to hire the next football coach here in just a second, but your phone calls are welcome, 615-737-1045. X is in Lebanon.
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing today?
Good.
Well, for Titans fans, I was at therapy with my son, his physical therapy, and just talking to some parents, and it's kind of like, why are people surprised that the Titans suck like they do? We knew 2 years ago we was going to be sorry. I don't like how people say Amy doesn't care about the team. I mean, being part of a rebuilding team, it steps to it. Jeffrey Simmons might not be here next year. And it's not that she doesn't care, but it's a business. I think we just need a setback, and it's going to be rough this year and probably next year, but we've got to build around Cam. We've got to build around a new coach. Everybody knew coming in, Callahan was not going to make it this year. So, I don't know why everybody's just, overboard. Oh, my God, what are we going to do? It's part of a rebuild. It's going to be tough. At least he cares. We could be like the Browns and the Jets, So, we just got a setback, and greatness don't come overnight. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
Well timed right there by X.
Right on the money. Yeah, I don't think, are people accusing her of not caring? I don't think that she doesn't care. I think she's getting bad advice on a couple of different things. I think she's outsourced. She's at least getting some advisory, some feedback that hasn't, at least in the last couple of years, been in the best interest of the moves that they've made. But I don't think she doesn't care. And I think it is fair to you don't have to veer to extremes on any of this stuff. So I get his point, but it is fair to expect that they would take a step forward this year, and they didn't. They are a worse football team in 2025 than they were in 2024. That is unexpected, and that I think is okay to react to however you want to. But I get what he's saying about veering to extremes. All right.
Speaking of veering to extremes,
So how do you want to set this up?
Oh, quite simply. If anyone did not know the name of the Louisiana state governor, it is a man by the name of Jeff Landry. Mm-hmm. So you know that now. You probably also did not know what he sounds like, and I imagine many of you have probably seen this clip. But this is Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry speaking on the state of the Louisiana State University football program after the firing of Brian Kelly.
The first question is absolutely correct. We are not going down a failed path. And I wanted to tell you something. This is a pattern. The guy that's here now that wrote that contract cost Texas A&M $70-something million. Right now, we got a $53 million liability. We are not doing that again. And you know what? I believe that we're going to find a great coach. Maybe we'll let President Trump pick it. He loves winners. I'm not going to be picking the next coach. But I can promise you, we're going to pick a coach, and we're going to make sure that that coach is successful, and we're going to make sure that he's compensated properly, and we're going to put metrics on it, because I'm tired of rewarding failure in this country and then leaving the taxpayers on the foot, to foot the bill. So, yeah, I absolutely. Who's that? No. I can tell you right now, Scott Woodward is not selecting the next coach. Hell, I'll let Donald Trump select it before I let him do it. I don't know, but the Board of Supervisors is going to come up with a committee, and they're going to go find us a coach. Because, wait, I want to hold on. One real quick thing on that. Because here's what y'all reporters need to do. Y'all need to start looking at who represents all these people, like these agents. You know what's interesting? if I'm not mistaken, Woodard's agent, Kelly's agent, the Texas A&M, they're all the same agent. Like, you realize if I would be, I don't know how many sports writers we got here today? Just you. We should have a bunch. Okay? Like, this is ridiculous. Lawyers would be disbarred for the way these agents act and the way they're able to represent. In fact, there's no doubt, they may even represent some of the players now. Like, it's really time for the NCAA to put on some guardrails in college sports. Because, and it's fine. We don't need the guardrails. If big billionaires want to spend all that kind of money, no problem. But if I got to go find $53 million from Kevin, it's not going to be a pleasant conversation. I'm just telling you. I know. And I think that that's important as well. Y'all should start looking into that.
I mean, I could listen to him talk all day.
He's like a Cajun leprechaun.
Y'all should listen to that. I can't.
It just means more, man.
Oh, my goodness. That's so great. And to be a fly on the wall as Scott Woodward hears those comments. Like, is that news to Scott Woodward that he will not be executing the coaching search?
How long after that sentence is uttered into a microphone, I can tell you that Scott Woodward, in that crazy Cajun accent, isn't going to pick the next coach. I'd rather Donald Trump pick the next coach. I kind of want Donald Trump to pick the next coach at LSU. For pure, make it a reality TV show. Make it The Apprentice. Let's do the whole thing. We'll bring in contestants. For what it's worth, Brian Kelly's agent is Trace Armstrong. Scott Woodward's agent is the infamous Jimmy Sexton. Jimmo Fisher's agent is also Jimmy Sexton. So the Jeff Landry is the governor of Louisiana. I keep wanting to say the governor of LSU. It sounds like he's the governor of LSU. It's like that. What's the former FIFA president? I'm the president of everything. What's his name?
The former or the current?
No, the former one, the rotten. I mean, they're all
Sepp
rotten.
Blatter.
Sepp Blatter. I'm the president of everyone. Just a crazy.
I mean, it's true.
It's one of the best quotes I've ever heard somebody say into a microphone.
It's true.
Imagine you're Scott Woodward and you just see a Twitter headline. It's like, President Donald Trump has hired Lane Kiffin as the next LSU head football coach.
It's so funny.
Probably helped his approval rating.
It's so funny to listen to that and think, yeah, no wonder Brian Kelly didn't quite work out down there when the highest power in the state sounds like that. Like, yeah, nope, that makes sense. I mean, it's just incredible. Oh, man, like that is low-key an all-time moment in college football history.
It's outstanding.
Like, man, I don't know if it's going to have the notoriety that, like, Mike Gundy's I'm a man, I'm 40 rant had. I don't know if we're going to be talking about that spiel for the next 20, 30 years, but we should be.
The Mike Gundy thing was at a time before things were really going viral that way. Like, that's one of the first viral sports moments that I think at least people of our age would probably remember. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, there's people of an older generation. There have been greater moments other than Mike Gundy, I'm a man, I'm 40 type of situation. But like something that actually took the internet over that way and is still used. How long ago was that? How old is Mike Gundy?
That was in 2007, I think.
It's almost 20 years ago.
I'd watch a 30 for 30 on this, though. Like, it's got to start with Brian Kelly, my family, and then end with this and the coaching hire.
So good, man. That's so good.
The fact that he turns around to what I assume is the Secretary of the Treasury of Louisiana, I got to go to Ken. I got to ask him for $53 million. I promise you it's not going to be a pleasant conversation. Ken's just standing there smiling like, yeah, I don't want to give him $53 million to fire a coach. You're right.
And being surprised that there's only one sports writer there. How many sports writers are here? Oh, just one. Oh, just you? That's so good.
There should be more.
That's gold. It's so good.
Because here's what y'all need to know about this thing. Y'all sports writers.
Here's the questions you need to be asking. The man sounds like who's the candidate that's running Homer Simpson, not Homer Simpson, Homer something in the Oh Brother Where Art Thou?
Oh yeah,
Homer something.
Yeah.
Is you or is you ain't my constituency? Yeah. Like that's that guy.
I just love how he was like about to stop and then he got himself worked up again. Yeah. Like a minute tangent.
He's like, wait. I could do 3 hours on that clip alone. I would rather do 3 hours on that clip alone.
So looks like Landry went to school at Loyola University of New Orleans and Louisiana Lafayette. So no LSU background, but
still,
the state.
He is a true Cajun. Yeah, that man, nothing inauthentic about that. I bet he hated Brian Kelly from the jump. I bet nobody hated Brian Kelly more than Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry when he was hired.
Because you have to, that's a part of being a college head coach, especially at the biggest state university, especially like the football program like that. Like you go visit with heads of state. Like you got to be somebody who's personable and social.
Yeah, Brian Kelly did not do a good job of that.
Famously not. 615-737-1045. We'll keep it with college football. Tennessee is hosting Oklahoma. What matchup will decide this game? We'll get into it next.
11:02. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. World Series, the Toronto Blue Jays hit home runs on the first two pitches of the game in Los Angeles to take Game 5, 6-1. Toronto takes a 3-2 lead over the Dodgers in the World Series. Game 6 will be tomorrow in Toronto. The Blue Jays can win it with a victory. Nashville Predators are in action tonight as they head to Philadelphia to face the Philadelphia Flyers. Preds coming off of a loss to end the homestand. Puck drop today is at 6 p.m. Meanwhile, the Titans injury report came out yesterday as they prepare to host the Los Angeles Chargers at Nissan Stadium on Sunday. Not practicing were offensive lineman Blake Hance, edge rusher Arden Key, tackle Dan Moore with a shoulder. Calvin Ridley and Jeffrey Simmons once again did not practice. Xavier Woods did not participate with a hamstring, and guard Kevin Zeitler was limited due to rest. Thursday Night Football tonight in Miami. The Baltimore Ravens looking for their third win of the season as they head down to face the Miami Dolphins. Kickoff at 7:15. You can hear the Westwood One call right here on The Zone. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Vols got a big one on Saturday night at Neyland Stadium, Oklahoma, coming to town. How do you feel about the uniform choice? Are you uniform superstitious? You're not really a superstitious type of sports fan.
Not at all.
Many of your fellow Vols fans are, though, about the uniforms. Various uniforms.
I have never even remotely bought into superstitions. I have not loved the smoky gray. The way that they did the smoky grays for so long, especially in the Butch Jones era, they would pull them out in most cases for the biggest game of the season. And when you do that, especially when you're not exactly in a place as a program to compete with the likes of Georgia, who they wore smoky grays against a bunch of times, or checkered Neyland against a bunch of times, when they simply weren't at the level of Georgia, you're probably going to lose. And so it's going to play into the fans thinking that the Smoky Grays or Checker Neyland is cursed, when really you're just worse than the other football team. So one thing Danny White's done that I appreciate is he has not pulled out the alternate uniforms for the likes of Alabama or Georgia. He has pulled them out for Kentucky, for South Carolina. This actually, against Oklahoma, is probably the best opponent, the highest quality opponent that Tennessee has pulled out the dark mode uniforms for. And so we'll see. I think it'll be a good game. Obviously, the Heupel versus Oklahoma narrative is there. It's tamped down from what it was a year ago with Oklahoma's first ever conference game as a member of the SEC in Norman. But think about last year going into that game. SEC opener, Nico Iamaleava against Jackson Arnold, two former five-stars out of the same recruiting class. And now here we are in November of 2025, and it's Joey Aguilar versus John Mateer. Things have changed a lot for both of those programs. And Oklahoma went into the season as a team that was kind of looked at out of the corner of people's eyes. Hey, watch out for a little playoff/championship run from Oklahoma. And that hasn't panned out the way that their fans would hope. A lot has to do with that, including the injury to quarterback John Mateer.
So it's a playoff elimination game for basically both of them. I mean, Oklahoma's got a more fringe chance than Tennessee obviously does, but this would be the best win on Tennessee's schedule, or to date, if they were able to get it done.
Oh, yeah, easily. Yeah. Easily. I mean, the thing that Tennessee has going for it is its losses, not its wins. So what's Tennessee's highest quality win at this point? Mississippi State or Arkansas?
Yeah, it's Mississippi State. And Mississippi State keeps playing teams close but losing. Yeah. So how good is that win actually?
No, it's the fact that your two losses are to top five teams, and you were in both of those games. Obviously, the Georgia game, down to the wire, overtime, you're a missed field goal away from winning it. And then the Bama game, mistakes, you let that game get away from you in Tuscaloosa. So, yes, no question, this would give Tennessee the best win of its resume.
So the matchup, obviously, that's going to be as important as any is, can Tennessee's offense overwhelm Oklahoma's defense or give them the edge, right? That is strength on strength. we'll see what happens with John Mateer. Obviously, he's not been the best version of himself since coming back from the hand surgery. You thought maybe they were starting to make steps in the right direction, but they've looked very, very pedestrian, and pedestrian maybe kind to what that passing attack specifically has looked like. Pate pointed out when he was in studio with us the other day that the Oklahoma defense, their strength is their front. Their secondary is gettable, which obviously lends itself to matchup advantage. Vols, you would think, because the passing game of the Vols is the thing that's going to be if they are to go over the top, literally and metaphorically, it's going to be the passing game that does it.
Yeah, and they gave up over 400 yards of offense in that 34-26 loss to Ole Miss at home last week. They gave up 315 passing yards. Trinidad Chambliss had a day leading that Ole Miss offense, 24-44 for 315 and a touchdown, a QBR of 90.7. So you are going to have to be able to protect Joey Aguilar, which Tennessee, for the most part, has done a really nice job of this year. Run the football and carry over your performance from the Kentucky game. Oklahoma is not going to do some of the things Kentucky did. I'd be very surprised if Oklahoma, with that weakness in the secondary, decides to just go straight up cat coverage against these Tennessee receivers and let them feast all day, which is what Kentucky did last week in Lexington. But can you score? Can you move the ball enough to offset what Oklahoma's offense is probably going to do to an extent to your defense, right? I mean, is Tennessee's defense just going to be able to make a 180 with all of these fundamental issues that we're seeing the last 2 weeks? Feels like that's dominated the conversation in Knoxville this week. You had Rodney Gardner, the D-line coach, saying, yeah, it's not up to our standard. Like, it's kind of been the theme of the week for Tennessee, that sort of picture of how good this team can be if they can just clean up some incredibly basic things on defense. So feast or famine. They're either totally misaligning or misjudging leverage or just missing tackles, or they're scooping and scoring and picking off the football and sacking the quarterback. Very boom or bust this year. So they need to keep making those plays, keep being opportunistic, but clean up some of that stuff that's plagued them and get after John Mateer. Oklahoma's offensive line's been susceptible to pressure in the last couple of weeks. John Mateer, pre-thumb surgery, in the first 4 games of the season, was averaging over 303 pass yards per game with 6 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. He was averaging over 47 rush yards per game and had 5 touchdowns. In the last 3 games since returning, and he was completing 67% of his passes. In the last 3 games since returning from thumb surgery, he's completed 58% of his passes, down 9 percentage points, averaging 191.7 pass yards per game. So a big drop off there. And he only has 2 touchdowns in the air, no interceptions, but 12 rush yards per game. He has been non-existent in the run game. When he was a true dual threat, really the favorite for the Heisman at the start of the year.
He's built like a fullback.
Yeah. So is that because he's not right? He says it's got nothing to do with the thumb. Okay. We'll see what John Mateer looks like in a rocking crowd. And I would think the best environment Oklahoma has played in this season. Their biggest games have been at home, Michigan, Auburn, and Ole Miss.
What's their biggest road game?
Texas was a neutral site game. So, yeah, this will certainly be their biggest road challenge so far.
Oklahoma, despite having a secondary that's gettable, is only allowing 155.4 passing yards per game. That's tied for 10th best in the country with Missouri. Can this be right? Have they only allowed 4 passing touchdowns?
Oklahoma?
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
That's kind of crazy.
They also had 14 tackles for loss against Ole Miss. So obviously Ole Miss put up a lot of points, had a lot of success, but they can wreck a game getting you in the backfield.
Yeah, there's some similarities there. That they have given up a lot at times this year, and they've also been opportunistic and been a playmaking defense as well.
I mean, what they have against Auburn, like 10 sacks, I believe, on
Oh, my
Jackson
goodness.
Arnold?
Yeah, 9 or 10.
It was something outrageous.
Yeah, that's also been something that's plagued Auburn all season. But, yes, no, you're right about that. So, Tennessee's got to get after John Mateer. They got to bother him in the pocket. Oklahoma's given up 9 sacks the last 3 games. Tennessee is 7th in the country, averaging almost 3.5 sacks per game. They only have 1 in the last 2 games. So they've got to get back to affecting the quarterback as they get back home on Saturday.
Yeah, that defense is suspect, right? And that's the thing that we are kind of awaiting to see if, I mean, I don't think John Mateer is going to get right necessarily, but can John Mateer do enough in a game against a defense that struggles to tackle and is allowing chunk plays and lets a lifeless team like Kentucky mess around and score 30-plus on them. And again, some mitigating circumstance on some of those scores, but still, it's not a good look for Tim Banks and the rest of his unit, understanding that Tennessee has been kind of, at least from a secondary standpoint, they kind of had one arm behind their back. I mean, you could argue two arms behind their back all year long with losing their top two corners for the duration of this. So, I mean, again, McCoy is not going to play in this game.
Yep, not going to play.
We have any insight on that whatsoever. It's like I signed up for a VolQuest subscription just to see if I could have any kind of additional insight, and VolQuest is the best. If they're not getting it, nobody is.
At this point, believe it when I see it that Jermon McCoy, and like, it's not like he's behind schedule, right? He tore his ACL 10 months ago. Like, for a lot of players, especially a change of direction position like cornerback, that could take a year. So maybe he gets back before the end of the season. Maybe it's something that happens in the postseason. Maybe it doesn't happen, as he is a projected first-round pick. So Arion Carter, Tennessee's linebacker and lead tackler, listed as questionable in this game. And it's a great sign that Colton Hood was not on the injury report, or the availability report, as the SEC puts it. So there was some question there. Heupel was asked about it. He said, you'll have to wait for Wednesday. Colton Hood's name not on there, which is great news because you really can't afford to be down yet another body there at cornerback with a couple of playmaking receivers coming in for Oklahoma. Meanwhile, Arch Manning listed as questionable as he is in concussion protocol, as Vanderbilt obviously has a huge game down there this week. So that puts an interesting spin on this game. I don't know that it's affected the line for Vanderbilt, Texas. Tennessee, by the way, 3.5-point favorites at home against OU. Texas still 2.5-point favorites at home against Vandy.
You can call the show, 615-737-1045. You can interact with the show if you want on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, where Scott Stockdale writes, Hattie B's black-eyed pea salad for the win. Great lunch.
It's great. If you get the Southern salad, you get the black-eyed peas in there. You can get whatever chicken you want, whatever flavor, and cornbread croutons.
I want to stick with college football real quick before we move over to NFL headlines, because you have some, yes?
I sure do.
Okay, we'll do that in a second. Did either of you watch this MTSU-Jacksonville State game?
Very, very briefly. Flipped over a couple times during the World Series.
See, that's now I know you're lying. You didn't watch baseball.
It was on in the background. Blue Jays hitting homers on the first two pitches of the game. Toronto, man, after taking that 18-inning loss on the chin,
look at this guy.
2 straight road wins.
Baseball talk.
I mean, speaking of analysis, how about this from Magic Johnson? Did you see this yesterday?
He always gives riveting analysis.
Put him on MLB Network, man. This is fantastic stuff. Magic Johnson yesterday taking to Twitter to tell us, with the series being 2-2, Game 5 is very important. Whichever team wins takes control of the series. I didn't know that, Magic. Thank you. Pate cracked me up when he quoted it. He said, analytics have transformed the game.
I saw Booger McFarland memes, too, with it.
Yeah, that's excellent stuff.
He's done this his entire social media career.
Is it
Magic
a bit?
Johnson.
Oh,
No,
if Michigan State or the Lakers lose, he's in shambles on Twitter.
but it's kind of like that. Like, it's just that kind of, I mean, do you even qualify that as analysis? It's just a statement of fact.
Yeah, he's...
That's the joke.
He tweeted.
But I don't think he's doing a thing. I think that's how he tweets.
That's so great.
I would love for it to be a bit, and he's just engagement baiting.
He tweeted last night, Austin Reeves was the Lakers' hero tonight, hitting the game-winning shot and ending with 28 points and 16 assists.
Yeah, he's just reading a media guide. I think that's just what happens. I enjoy it.
I'm obsessed with this. Another sports day for me, with my Dodgers playing the Blue Jays and my MLS team, LAFC, taking on Austin to start the playoffs.
I just searched.
Just stating facts.
Just stating facts.
I just searched best Magic Johnson tweets, and I see one from March 6, 2014. The only way San Antonio or Miami don't win the championship is if neither team makes the finals.
This should have been my Friday fire.
Freddie Freeman does it again. Last year, he had a walk-off home run in Game 1 against the New York Yankees. Freddie is simply amazing.
I think you should just start tweeting this way. I think this should be you should steal Magic Johnson's bit and just start tweeting unironic stats.
January of 2017. Now I'm on my way to my next speaking engagement that starts in an hour. Period.
Good punctuation. Proper punctuation.
Yes, it looks like.
I'm obsessed with this.
Jamal Murray scored 6 straight free throws in the closing seconds and had a game-high 34 points to lead the Nuggets over the Trailblazers! Exclamation point.
You know who he is? He's purred happily
Who's that?
from Parks and Recreation.
Oh, I never saw it.
Oh,
I mean, I've seen I've never started it and finished it.
He's-
Like I know that Amy Poehler's in it, and I know Ron Swanson, but yeah.
the best mockumentary show of all time.
Okay.
Pert Hapley is the news anchor that he just says very obvious, like very clearly stated, and you know what I mean? Like phonetically very clean and crisp, but just incredibly obvious statements. And Magic Johnson. That's great. I went to the Lakers game last night and watched my Lakers get beat by the Warriors, 119-109. And just fantastic.
Maybe we do that.
I'm
Maybe
obsessed with this.
Maybe we read a random Magic Johnson tweet every couple of days, or maybe once every couple of weeks. Just like drop it in the middle of it.
I'm following him. I did not follow Magic. I have to follow him now.
Laker fans all over should be happy with the number 2 pick because the Lakers will get another really good player. Believe that was the Brandon Ingram pick.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hey, he's still around, isn't he?
Brandon Ingram? Yeah, sure.
He's on the Raptors now, I believe.
I only bring up that, and we're only talking about that because MTSU played Jacksonville State last night. MTSU now winless in CUSA. Well, it continues to be winless in CUSA. Did you see the incomplete pass that was ultimately overturned but called a touchdown on the field that happened in this MTSU game? It's one of the most ridiculous officiating moments I've ever seen.
Wait.
Awful announcing picked it up last night.
Wait, was it like what the interception you're saying?
No.
Before half? Oh, okay.
It was
'Cause there were a bunch of crazy
No, I'm
plays.
sorry. It was the interception
Yeah.
before half.
Yeah.
Where the guy's clearly out of bounds and throwing it back.
Throwing footballs.
Throwing it as a forward pass back into play.
So they ended up calling that a touchdown?
They called it a touchdown on the field. Like, you can, Ross, if you can pull this from Awful Announcing's timeline before we go to break and do headlines, because it's worth playing here. To hear the bewilderment of the announcers. Imagine being a play-by-play guy on the call of this play. And honestly, it's worth putting it in front of you in real time if you have it up on Awful Announcing, Lucas.
I saw the play you're talking about.
The play is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ross will get us the audio courtesy of ESPN2 here in just a second. And because I was confused, why is Chase Daniel, former Missouri quarterback, former NFL quarterback, calling the MTSU game?
Yeah, he's doing like those Tuesday night games or Wednesday night games on ESPN.
Right on.
That is heartbreaking. For that's crazy that was called a touchdown.
But it was overturned. But again, they called it a touchdown on the field.
Oh, I see what you're saying. On the field. Okay.
So, do you have it? Okay, let's hear. And I don't know who the play-by-play guy is. Maybe Lucas will be able to recognize him. But it's Chase Daniel at least doing the analysis. This is MTSU Jack State, the end of the first half on ESPN2.
Jack State going into a prevent defense. Final 4 seconds. Battiato's going to launch it toward the blue paint. Underthrown, and it is picked off. Intercepted by Caleb Nix. He has a chance to bring it all the way back. Caleb Nix down the sideline. Loose football. Penalty flag down. This is Travis Franklin still running. And he lost it. And he can't throw it forward. Covered up in the end zone, but there is so much to unpack and so much wrong with what we just saw.
Weekday Conference USA, they called it a touchdown on the field.
Of course they did. And 2 penalty flags down. But this is not going to be a touchdown. I feel pretty safe in saying that.
The play-by-play guy just dismissively saying, of course they did.
So the guy's being brought down before he gets to the end zone, and he just throws the ball over his head into the end zone. Just such a clear forward pass.
Well, the first dude on the sideline does like a 360 and throws it forward.
So I'm saying he's out of bounds, throwing it back into play.
Such foolishness. MTSU, man, what a brutal season.
The Derek Mason
1-7
era.
Yeah.
In Murfreesboro, not going necessarily to plan. I know 3HL was out there yesterday, but tough scene. Anyway, headlines, NFL headlines next.
I didn't comment on the Draymond Green play because I'm old school and there was nothing to say. It's time for NFL headlines with Lucas Panzica.
Very
sexual.
Sing-songy.
That's right, baby. Hey, also the install's
It's
up.
too loud. I can't hear you. Lower the
Can't
music.
hear a word you're saying.
God. What were you just bragging about how good you did your job before you did your job poorly?
I did it good on in one area. And poorly
I did it
good. Did it well.
Good job, Ross. Trades. We've got trades. Here's the thing. The trade deadline is coming up in a few days, and we always go into it, you're like rubbing our hands together, NFL trade deadline on the horizon, and there's never anything of true significance, right? Like, it's parts and pieces. Now, for the Titans conversation, obviously, it matters more this year than in years past when they could be selling off parts that obviously can add to their draft capital in a full-blown rebuild. But for the most part, like, there's not these highly impactful moves like there is in the NBA.
Well, even the NBA doesn't really do that. You know why this feels a little like it's got a little less juice than years past? Because I do think that there have been meaningful NFL trades made at the deadline.
Like, what's the most meaningful one in recent memory?
Oh, it's Michael Parsons. But that happened before the season.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about in season.
Oh, I'm
not talking about trades generally. Yes, of course there's impactful trades that happen. I'm talking about on the cusp of the trade deadline. Like, we kind of feel like we talk about it like it's this thing, like, oh, better have Shefty tweet notifications and all, but it's like nothing really.
Okay, well,
McCaffrey, probably.
McCaffrey, Jimmy Garoppolo to the Niners was a big deal at the time.
Jalen Ramsey.
Jalen Ramsey is one. Fitzpatrick. Minka Fitzpatrick was another. Marshawn Lynch, I mean, this is going back years, but Marshawn Lynch to the Seahawks.
Minka was in midseason?
Minka was a midseason trade to the Steelers.
Okay.
Streets are saying the biggest one all time was Herschel to the Vikings back in '89.
Ah, that is a big one. All right.
Yeah, Carson Palmer to the Raiders. Like, there have been trades, but to your point, like, it's not an every year thing. It's maybe like an every 3-year thing that we get a big trade. And the biggest deal of the year was Micah Parsons to the Packers. So that kind of takes any juice that you might have. Now, I don't know. Did you read what Schefter had the other day on Myles Garrett? That essentially you have a better chance of winning the lottery than you do acquiring Myles Garrett at the deadline. The Browns just no shot.
McCaffrey is a good submission by Ross. That was a big trade back in 2023. That's probably the most recent, like, somewhat seismic move, especially considering he got to San Fran and immediately hit the ground running, quite literally. But there have been a couple of trades. The Eagles.
ESPN fixed their screw up that I mentioned to you this morning by that listing Nick Folk as a tradable asset for the Titans roster.
Yeah.
It's since been corrected to Joey Sly. I'm sure somebody tweeted Tehran like it's Tehran's fault.
Yeah. It was a Bill Barnwell article, right?
Correct.
The Eagles have acquired some cornerback help as they acquire Michael Carter II and a 2027 7th-round draft pick from the Jets in exchange for wide receiver John Mechie III and a 2027 6. So Michael Carter, the cornerback, not the running back, headed to Philly. But those are the type of moves that have happened.
The running back got cut by Arizona, right?
He is still a Cardinal.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
I believe he got released.
He was released, but re-signed to the practice squad immediately.
Okay.
So he's technically still a Cardinal.
So Eagles in a situation where they're trying to shore up their defense. John Mechie, has he done anything? The former Texans draft pick?
Well, he beat cancer, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I'd say that's pretty good.
Anything stats-wise?
Stats-wise, this season he's got 4 catches for 18 yards.
What do you want me to do with that? Don't smile at me like that.
For a real classy move by you. Oh, what? He hasn't done anything. Yeah, you only beat cancer. But okay.
Now, there is a Titans swing to this trade by the Jets that Michael Carter has been the Jets slot corner for the past 3-4 years, I believe. Mm-hmm. Seems like they're going with Jarvis in the slot now. And, that went down here.
Sure do. Can I bring up something within the context of the Titans just quickly? Because they signed a couple of players. They signed Micah Robinson to their active roster. They signed an outside linebacker named Truman Jones. I was unfamiliar with Truman Jones prior to yesterday. Still unfamiliar with Truman Jones, but still. I don't know that this will happen. I'm curious to see, because we've still got time. It's Tuesday that the trade deadline is, so there's plenty of time for a team to get desperate, for a team to swing on a player that they might want more than another player and settle for somebody on the Titans roster, for example. But what if they aren't able to sell the way that they want to sell? Because I think it's just an assumption right now that people will just take all of the parts that they're trying to get rid of. And I don't know that that's a safe assumption right now. I feel like there's a lot of tight ends that are available for trade. Njoku, Mark Andrews, Chig. Like, where does Chig fall in the pecking order of acquirable tight ends in the NFL right now?
Right. Like, any trades the Titans make, we're talking about players like Chig, like Arden Key, right? Like, how much meaningful draft capital are you getting? You're getting closer to that goal of 100.
They need 100 draft picks.
Of 30 draft picks in 3 years, 12 top 100 picks in the next 3 years.
That was a stated goal.
Yes. They have said that multiple times. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, are you really looking at a potential gain of anything that's much more significant than what you got back for Roger?
Like if somebody says Ridley for a fifth, you going to hem and haw about it, or are you just going to get rid of Calvin Ridley? Like straight up and not have to eat contract, because you might have to eat contract to move Ridley.
Oh, no, I think you would most likely have to.
Because they had to with Hop last year, too.
Oh, yeah. No, you definitely got to eat some of that. I'd be surprised. I'd be very surprised if somebody came calling about Ridley, even on the cheap.
Well, no, I don't think we're in a situation. I mean, nobody came calling about Brownlee. They were just shopping Brownlee for a week. Like, that's the thing about this. Like, whatever leverage they might stand to gain from teams calling them, I don't think that's how this is going down.
But even to call the Jets and the Patriots and everybody they called about Brownlee, like, it even makes more sense for the Jets to say, yeah, okay, well, we like this young player at corner that you just don't want in your building for whatever reason. We'll do a pick swap with you. That makes more sense than even giving up a fifth or a sixth for Calvin Ridley to take on that contract and putting him in a wide receiver room. It's like, okay, number one, he's hurt right now. He's got a hamstring. He's missed multiple games. And we saw how long it took for him to get going last season and this season. And, there's been plenty of stuff around Calvin Ridley in his career. And if you're a team trading for Calvin Ridley, like, it's November as of Saturday. You need him to hit the ground running. So I'd be surprised if anybody gives up even minimal draft capital to take on even a portion of that money and rely on Calvin Ridley in a wide receiver room.
Hop was dealt for a conditional fifth that could become a fourth, but obviously they managed the snap count in Kansas City to where it was just a fifth. So I don't know if you take a Calvin Ridley trade just for the like a 2027, somebody said I'd take a 2027 seventh to get him off the books. I think that's a bit extreme. Because, he's 30 and he's hurt and he's not been overwhelmingly consistent. But I think if you make him if he's an ancillary option as opposed to a primary, does Calvin Ridley benefit from a better football team? I don't know. Anyway, a Titans tangent in the middle of your headlines. My bad.
The Saints have named Tyler Shuck QB1 for the rest of the season. Head coach Kellen Moore said, quote, Tyler's starting, so we're not looking back on that. Obviously, the goal is to let Tyler play and get going, and Spencer knows that his role is to be the backup, and he's supposed to help Tyler in any possible way. He did an excellent job today running the scout team. So Moore is out there saying Shuck is our guy the rest of the way. The Saints are off to a 1-7 start, and they are in see what we got mode with Tyler Shuck as they essentially contend with the Titans and Jets for potentially the number one overall pick. Now, that is a team. I know you've kind of insinuated, what if the next Titans head coach comes in and says, no, I want my own guy at quarterback. Mm-hmm. That is a team that it feels more likely that Kellen Moore would be like, no, let's start this over at quarterback. The Saints, do they play this week? They play at the Rams Sunday afternoon.
That has to be the biggest point spread of the weekend, right?
Rams are 14.5-point favorites. Yes, it is. Green Bay is 13.5-point favorite against Carolina at Lambeau Field.
Doesn't Tyler Shuck feel like kind of next-gen Davis Mills? Because Davis Mills is still a Texan. And I think plenty of teams would be interested in having a better backup situation. So what if Tyler Shuck plays this year out, gets some experience? The Saints are a bad enough football team that they're able to draft a quarterback or bring in a better veteran quarterback situation. You let go of Rattler, you keep Shuck, and Shuck can become a serviceable backup / developmental project type of situation. He's a second-round pick, right?
Shuck is, yeah. He was the first quarterback taken in the second round. The only, right? Because we were very much on Shador watch at that point.
Yeah, God. Doesn't that feel like 100 years ago?
He was 17 of 30 for 128 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception, and a rating, a QBR of 7.7, a rating of 53.2 in the 23-3 loss to Tampa when he came in for Rattler last week.
I'd be okay with Spencer Rattler as a backup.
Spencer Rattler, it's like they're either just toiling or he's hitting a bomb to Rashid Shaheed for 75 yards.
Football people love him. Like, just in terms of potential.
Always have.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a blue chip at every turn coming out and through college.
Do you have another headline?
Not really.
Okay. 615-737. What, Ross?
I would rather have a veteran backup quarterback if we're able to get someone that's played some meaningful snaps.
Well, you have one.
You do? We have not seen him yet this year.
Do we?
Well, yeah. He's there. He's played meaningful snaps in the NFL.
He kind of falls under every category.
He's literally what you just described.
I digress.
I don't think you used that correctly. I don't think you did just digress.
I'm stepping out of the conversation. Whatever that means.
All right. I want to talk about this Carly Gordon-Ursay clip that keeps making the rounds because I don't know where football fans are on it. Not just Titans fans, because there's an obvious comparison between Titans ownership and Colts ownership that's been made here in the last couple of years. But I just mean in terms of like NFL fans, how do we feel about Carly Gordon-Ursay and her presence on the sideline? Is it corny or is it practical? We'll talk about it next.
$11:39. Oh, that means it's almost lunchtime. If you're like me, you're tapping your feet. You're thinking about what you want for your lunch break, and the answer is right here. It's Hattie B's. Hey, it's Lucas. You can visit any one of their 7 locations, the factory at Franklin, Lower Broadway, Melrose, Midtown, Nashville West, and the Nashville Airport. Fried chicken, grilled chicken, hot or not, whatever works for you, and the best sides in town. Go to HattieB.com. Download the Hattie B's app today as well. They're doing Southern salads. By the way, I have 2 words for you: cornbread, croutons. Trust me on that one. Thank me later. By the way, Thanksgiving is coming up, and Thanksgiving is getting hot with Hattie B's. They can cater your holiday, spicy it up for any size gathering. We're talking about a whole fried turkey, sliced turkey breast, cheesy hot chicken dip, whipped potatoes, Bishop's carrot souffle, desserts, so much more. The thing is, you got to get in on it early while supplies last. They're going to run out. People are picking up on how good a Hattie B's Thanksgiving can be. Remove all the hassle. Download the app today and go to HattieB.com and make your Thanksgiving hot.
Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, of which we are ordering right now for the show. Lucas is getting a Southern salad. Ross, you did not text me what you wanted, so you will go without food?
I did text you.
Oh, I just saw it.
Just don't get me ranch.
Ranch is, I'm not anti-ranch.
Me neither.
But I feel like if you say that ranch is not the greatest thing on God's green earth.
People come at you.
It's a very bizarre reaction. Like, I'm 32 years old. I just got the taste for ketchup. Never liked ketchup a day in my life before this year.
I like ketchup.
I do now, too. It was not an experience. I like spicy ketchup. Big fan of spicy ketchup. But don't shame me because for 31 years of my life, I didn't like ketchup or didn't have a need for ketchup.
No, I'm with you. Like, I do not hate ranch. People are obsessed with ranch, and I just don't fall. You know what I do hate, though? Honey mustard. I think honey mustard is terrible.
Okay, now that is a little
bizarre.
much. That's a little much.
It's an extreme position.
What else would you have with your chicken?
Well, barbecue sauce or blue cheese.
Blue cheese, ranch.
Blue cheese preferable. Ranch over honey mustard.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Easily.
Curtis says ketchup is childish. I don't think so.
Nah.
I'm down.
Nothing is better with, like, any sort of fried potatoes than ketchup.
Well, like, are you doing it like the chicken's on the plate and you're doing a little pool of ketchup on the side? That's a little childish.
No, I'm not dipping chicken in ketchup. That is childish.
I'll dip, like, chicken nuggets or tenders in ketchup.
Okay, you are childish.
Dino nuggies?
Do not
literally
come on here and hate on
literally
Dino
just said
Nuggies.
chicken nuggets and ketchup. You have the palate of a 5-year-old.
Listen, I am the person that said I would leave the dinner table if my potential draft pick at quarterback ordered chicken tenders at dinner. But
no, you would take his chicken tenders and then you would dip it in
I
ketchup.
would take them, but I would never order them. But Dino Nuggies have their place.
All right. Does an NFL owner have a place on the sideline with a headset on and a notebook if she doesn't actually know what she's listening to? That was at least the allegation lobbed against Carly Gordon Irsay, who is now the owner of the controlling owner of the Colts since her father, Jim Irsay, passed away. It's gotten a lot of attention. It's going to get a lot of attention anyway because they're 7-1. And I don't think the Colts are 7-1 because Carly Gordon Irsay is taking notes on the sideline. But she does have an interesting quote here that I think is worth listening to. When was this from? Was this from the initial press conference that she gave about the fact that she is going to be on the sidelines? Because I don't think this is a recent quote.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Either way, play it.
I need to learn more about this. I need to be able to say, is this person full of BS? Do they even know what they're talking about? And I think one of the things that being on the headset has really helped me learn is, to the question earlier, it's such a complex organism, a football team and how it operates. And on game day, and you could say, oh, that person ran that route wrong. When you learn to find, someone tagged the wrong wide receiver, and it wasn't really the player's fault. It was the person that called it. So, and it's never, I think that's been a very valuable, because it also helps us be able to know where do we need to make tweaks? What resources do we need? What do we need to fix? So much of it comes down to just how we operate and how things work. And the headsets are really, I wish I would suggest it for anyone else that has to pay coaches and GMs millions and millions of dollars. It helps you make a less expensive mistake, potentially.
All right. So it's not a recent quote. It's from the start of the season. And this is before she starts doing all these things. So we, I think, kind of laughed at it and said, well, you don't know what the hell they're going to be talking about anyway. How do you get to call BS on them? But I think the principle of it is that she's learning. Like, she wants to be involved so that she can make more educated decisions, more informed decisions. And that's not to say that she'll make good decisions as the owner of the Colts. But is it corny or is it practical? Because she's now recommending it to her peers, essentially, and be like, yeah, maybe you put on a headset.
Now, I would like to say something about this because Zach Lyons has sent me a snippet of an article about this from Indy Star about Carly Irsay Gordon. During her introduction as a principal team owner in June 2025, she said she started tracking coach communications in 2012 when Chuck Pagano was the coach, which she said accelerated the process of learning about, is this BS or not, which she was talking about in that clip.
Yeah, she's always been involved.
Doing it for a while, yeah.
She's always been involved. I think she's been very close in the organization with her father, and obviously her father makes the decision, so, you take a backseat to what dad says goes with the team. But now that it's her thing, I mean, I'm not saying that Amy has to be on the sideline with a headset on, but would it help? What could it hurt?
So we were kind of, because we talked about this in the summer,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And kind of like
Rolled our eyes.
almost eye rolling.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Like any owner with a headset, like, okay. And now we're not. And we're saying, okay, this could be practical. And this is something that's admirable. Why are we saying that?
They're winning.
They're 7-1.
Yeah, no, it's not a good story if she's on the sidelines and they're 1-7.
Yes. We don't hear Amy Adams drunk at press conferences. She doesn't take questions from media. And things are bad right now. There was a time where we still weren't hearing from Amy Adams drunk. She wasn't taking questions from media.
I don't know that she's ever. I think
maybe the Jeff
press conference is at least in my 9 seasons. That's the only press conference I can remember.
Titans were winning. Titans were in the AFC Championship game. All of these things.
They
and Amy
would go to the AFC Championship game that year.
Amy was being praised for the non-meddling owner. This stuff is so directly correlated with what's happening on the field. And people that criticize,
like, say so directly correlated?
Yes. It's all our response to it
I
is
thought you were saying
directly correlated. No, not whether or not they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yes. Criticisms are fair. Like, it sucks. It sucks that the NFL and American sports in general, the NFL, though, specifically, is a business where the most powerful person for this multi-billion-dollar organization is the one that is held least accountable, right, in terms of facing the noise. Like, that stinks. But it's the nature of the beast. So, not to say I don't want to hear from Amy Adams Strunk.
No, I'm not saying that.
But this stuff, our response to it is so directly tied. Like, I get why Titans fans want to hear from Amy. I also don't think that anything Amy could say at a podium would make Titans fans feel even 1% better about what's happening right now.
This is not a Amy Adams Strunk needs to talk type thing. I'm saying, like, could she benefit from could all owners benefit from what Carly Gordon Ursay, whatever the hyphenated last name, Gordon Ursay, is doing? Because she's saying, I don't know everything, but I'm trying to learn. So
it's
that
a good look.
It's definitely a good look. But is it practical? Because some of it can be, I'm sure some people did what we did, rolled our eyes and said, what do you know? And that's incredibly dismissive because we don't know what she knows, right? I don't know what Amy knows. I really don't know anything about Amy other than she goes to every game. And she tends to make, at least optically, rash decisions.
But I think it works with Carly because at least it seems like she's doing this, extra work, but she's not trying to control everything, with her football people, kind of like Amy. Like, you get a guy like Woody Johnson, if he goes on the sidelines and starts doing this, like...
He was in the locker. I mean, we heard stories about that. Woody in the locker room and his son talking to the team, right? His teenage son.
Did you hear
the Madden stuff?
Who's the former Florida State quarterback that was drafted?
Travis.
Jordan Travis. Did you hear this Jordan Travis thing?
Remind me.
He was drafted by the Jets.
I remember. He kid who broke his leg in the at
broke
the end
his
of the season.
Retired last year, I think.
Yeah.
So obviously he wasn't playing when he was on the Jets. But apparently Woody Johnson just walks up to him at some point and is like, when are you going to get healthy?
That's right.
But like not in a fun way.
Yeah.
Like not joking around. And he said, I kind of, I let it slide off me because sometimes older people just say things, say what they're feeling. But like that puts a tremendous amount of pressure. What draft pick was Jordan Travis?
Oh, late round pick.
Like a 7th rounder, 6th rounder?
You knew exactly what you were signing up for.
So like you're going to go over the owner of the team, go peer pressure the quarterback with a broken leg?
He's a 5th rounder.
Okay, still. Peer pressure the quarterback with a broken leg by being like, why aren't you healthy? My leg's broken, Woody. So I'm not saying this is a turnkey thing for everything. I'm just saying, is this something that will be adopted more? I have no idea. It's a curiosity. And the team is good because the team is good, not because she's on the sidelines taking notes and listening to the communication.
It is a good look. They're smart for, she is smart for putting herself out there like that and speaking openly like that, right? Well, I don't know what I don't know. Like that sort of humility, like that in and of itself is rare from these billionaire owners.
Cam Ward spoke at the podium yesterday about the progress that he thinks he's making. In fact, he gave a quote to the effect of he thinks every game is getting better. You'll hear from Cam Ward coming up next.
It is 12 o'clock. Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. Titans injury report yesterday ahead of the Sunday game at Nissan Stadium hosting the L.A. Chargers. Blake Hance, Arden Key, Dan Moore, Calvin Ridley, Jeffrey Simmons, and Xavier Woods did not practice. Another injury report set to come out later this afternoon. World Series, the Blue Jays hit home runs on each of the first two pitches on their way to a 6-1 win over the Dodgers in Game 5. Toronto takes a 3-2 series lead. They can take a World Series title with Game 6 tomorrow back in Toronto. First pitch happening at 7 p.m. And the Nashville Predators hit the road after a homestand. They are at the Philadelphia Flyers tonight. 6 p.m. is the puck drop. Thursday night football, the Baltimore Ravens, looking for their third win of the season, head down to Miami to play the Dolphins. You can hear the Westwood One call right here on The Zone with kickoff at 7:15. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
So the rest of the Titans season is dedicated, if you're invested, in the progress, the growth, the development of Cam Ward. You don't need me to tell you that. You know this. But how does Cam Ward feel like he's doing on that track? You heard from Greg Cosell, or at least you heard a snippet of Greg Cosell earlier. We did a deep dive on 4 plays that Greg said were basically quarterback teach tape for any quarterback, no matter what level, that show that this is a player who is at least giving you the signs that you should be moving forward with him for whatever your future decision-making process looks like. Now, that may seem obvious because you spent the number 1 overall draft pick on it, but you understand that these things are very fluid here of late and that it's tough, I think, for fans to kind of see the forest through the trees of Cam Ward development when the football team is 1-6 or 1-7 now, likely 1-8 by the time we get to the bye week, and losing by double-digit margins on a regular basis. Half of their games they have lost by 2 touchdowns or more so far this season. So it's tough to ask people to be like, hey, but don't you see? Don't you see all the good stuff he's doing? Well, he is. And whether or not that's enough for you to keep your interest all season long, it is important for future success. Cam Ward was asked about essentially his progress and self-scouting while not getting caught up in individual performance because, of course, he knows and we know that the thing that matters most is wins.
And the fact that you guys are all rookies coming in together, how fun is that and how encouraging is that for you as a quarterback to see these 3 young pass catchers kind of develop with you?
It's real confident for me, for them. Those guys, they work, they bust off each and every week they in the building. And so, like, what they doing on the field, like, I've seen it college from them, but I knew it was just going to continue to prosper in the league just because the reputation, the reps that we get just on our own time, but here. And I just think the biggest one out of those 3 is that they unselfish. Those are the type of guys that you need. And I'm glad that we able to, have that chemistry already in our first year. That's going to keep on, doing good for us.
I know individual performance doesn't matter when you lose, but when you went back and watched some of the stuff that you guys were able to do against Indy, how much did that kind of confirm, the progress that you're making?
It confirms it from a sense of, like, we know we can play at the level. We just got to be better each and every week. But the biggest thing that we're focused on is scoring points. We got to not just move the ball. We got to finish drives in the red zone and try to get points.
Cam, I know results haven't been what you wanted, but as you look back to your first game to now, do you get the sense that you've improved like you would want it so far?
Yeah, I think I improved every game. From an operation standpoint, from play calling standpoint, to getting in and out of huddle, to knowing where guys is, to being an NFL quarterback, I think every game's got better. Then for each other position, every game we've had together, we've got better chemistry at. Because practice is a lot different than the game. So, I'll continue to work with those guys, continue to work with me, we're going to continue to be better.
Okay, so obviously he knows, or he's hyper-fixated on winning. And he should be. But he knows that he also has to make progress in the losses too, and that there's valuable lessons to be learned there, even if it's unpleasant. So where specifically are we seeing him make that progress? Because it does feel like, and I know Zach Lyons did a really good job on social media categorizing some of the team statistics, team offensive statistics, that the Titans have made progress in. What's Zach's Twitter handle? Is it just the Zach
Lyons?
Okay. So you can find
the
that.
Zach Lyons.
Yeah.
The?
Not a Zach Lyons. The. Very official.
Ian Harditz works for PFF, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
I think he's just out here doing his own thing.
Okay. Just vibing, talking about football. But he put out a breakdown of Cam's first 4 games of his NFL career versus the last 4. So half and half from his first 8 games of his rookie season. Weeks 1 through 4, 4.9 yards per attempt, a completion percentage of 51%, 153 passing yards per game. Note, against defenses like Denver, Houston, and Los Angeles, the Rams. Weeks 5 through 8, the 4.9 yards per attempt goes up to 6.7. The completion percentage goes up 12 percentage points to 63%. And the yards per game goes up almost 100 yards with 250 yards per game. Ian kind of tags it saying he flashes some pretty wild arm talent every week, despite probably the NFL's worst supporting cast. So he is getting better. The progress is there. It is tangible. It's not translating to wins. It's not translating to 4-quarter performances. But they are also as outmanned as any other team trying to figure out what they have in a rookie quarterback or a young quarterback in the NFL. I was going to say maybe even more so than the Giants. Well, yeah, even more so than the Giants still, even with Neighbors and Scadaboo going down. The Giants have a defense that they feel like they can still lean on. The Titans are further back in assembling their roster than the New York Giants, though they have been destroyed by injuries for some of their young, talented players. But it is tangible, the improvement we're seeing from Cam.
That was a nice graphic you had pulled up there too, Lucas, if I might say so. Whoever put that graphic together, it was pretty good, pretty clean.
Oh, I guess I was looking at like an A to Z sports graphic of the information that I guess Ross put together. Good job,
What
Ross.
are you looking at me like that?
Well done by Ross.
I didn't say it was me. I just said whoever put it together did a good job.
No, you did a great job, Ross.
Are you a child that you need a pat on the head every time you do your job?
Oh,
But
stop.
yes,
For the person that just constantly needs attention on
Correct.
what they're doing.
That's right. I know the behavior because I can identify.
Yeah, yeah.
But yes, I thought, Lucas, those were some great points right there.
Thanks, Ross.
This is the graphic not made by Ross.
You don't know.
I do know. I do, in fact. Ross, I know what Ross's graphics look like. They're not very good.
Statistically,
They look like crayon
You're
drawings.
thinking about the primetime ones.
Statistically, 48% of all graphics with useful information people see on Twitter, I think, are created by Ross.
Just everywhere on the internet.
Yes.
All of them. Okay.
Always working.
You know what? Take your ass to the shadows. Do you know how? This is a learning opportunity.
I'm not ruining Robert's thing he set up on the computer.
What thing did he set up on the computer?
With the shot of us 3 on here.
Oh, so you want to be on camera, which is why you can't go to the shadows.
Yeah.
That's a shadow sendable offense. Just get out of here.
No, I don't think he's going anywhere. You do you, Ross.
Anyway.
Go on with what you have that Ross probably put together.
No, Zach Lyons did. We're stealing his
The
information.
Zach Lyons or a Zach Lyons?
The.
Okay. It'd be really funny if it was another one. No, just a Zach Lyons.
One of your 2 E's.
That's what he should have done. But
Lion.
But he's like Ross. He wants everybody to know that he's the Zach Lyons. He's got to be the guy on camera. If Bert's not on camera, maybe we just take you off camera.
Do I have
Maybe
to
that's
change
my
my
version
Twitter
of
username?
The Ross
The
Johnson.
Ross Johnson, in case you guys didn't know.
Just in case.
Unbelievable. So, what Zach did is he took a variety of different offensive categories and he divided them up into 3 sections here. Category statistical accomplishment under just Callahan as head coach and play caller. I'm sure you've seen this. What it looks like with Callahan and Bo Hardigree as the play caller. What it looks like with Mike McCoy and Bo Hardigree as the play caller. How many categories do you think that Brian Callahan had a better offense?
Just tell us, because I already know.
Okay. There is not a category that he has listed here, other than points per game, because they're kicking more field goals under Brian Callahan, and red zone trips, because they're settling for field goals, but they're getting to the red zone more often, but they're kicking more field goals in the red zone.
And Joey Sly was hotter at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, it's a tough miss.
He wasn't really missing in the first few weeks.
On Sunday. So, Callahan had 7 red zone trips. Mike McCoy and Bo Hardigree, well, I guess technically, Callahan had 7 plus 4 with Bo Hardigree as the play caller. So 11 total to 3 for McCoy and Bo. Right now, every other statistical category, yards per game, touchdowns per game, EPA per play, so efficiency, success rate, red zone rate, so what they're scoring in the red zone. They're a better scoring offense in the red zone, even if they're not making as many trips to the red zone. Third down rate, yards per drive, time per drive, all better under Mike McCoy and Bo Hardigree as the play caller.
But nobody would come to his birthday party.
So, they are better, even if they're still getting shelled by teams. And they can't do anything. This is strictly offense. Defense, obviously, is missing the entire starting secondary.
Yeah.
And now Jeff Simmons, and basically every pass rusher not named Draymond Jones. Like, they're out there fighting for it on a regular basis. Ali Gay went on injured reserve. I don't know how many Titans fans even knew Ali Gay was a pass rusher on the roster. So they are making progress, and Cam is getting better, but it is a forest through the trees type of argument. You have to be willing to deal with the granular if you want to see the steps that they're actually taking here. And I know that's tough for fans who just want to see winning football.
Yeah, it's kind of a version of what we expected, but with the bar kind of lowered, right? Because you can make an argument that, I mean, there's 1 or 2 games that the Titans have lost this season that were kind of there for the taking. Now, with that said, the Cardinals also kind of handed them their only win. So you can play it both ways.
Handed it on a silver platter.
So we didn't expect it to be this bad. We didn't expect Brian Callahan to be fired, not even before the bye week, but before the Patriots game. But we did have the expectation or the hope that while knowing this team was not going to be able to compete week over week over week, the hope to see Cam Ward tangibly progress week over week. And we are starting to see that. And that can just be the basis for what the Titans are trying to do moving forward. And Cam Ward can still be the thing that attracts whoever the next head coach of the Titans is going to be, whoever the next offensive coordinator is going to be. But obviously, the roundabout path to getting there has been a lot more turbulent than what Titans fans would have wanted before the season, even with the low expectations going in. But we are seeing it. It feels like they're pushing the ball down the field a little bit more. Chimere Dike's numbers have kind of taken off in the last 2 games. I mean, Dike's top 5 in the NFL in the last 2 weeks receiving.
He's leading the NFL in all-purpose yards because he's obviously their punt and kick returner.
Yeah, and he obviously is getting a lot of kickoff opportunities. But still, I mean, he's also, he's not like, what's his average? We can pull up his average on kick returns. He's also making the most of those.
Yeah, no, he's a plus. Chimere Dike is a plus. There's not many players on the team that you can say that about. I mean, hell, we were relying on Joey Sly as a plus on a regular basis, and even that seems to have faded.
Do y'all think that if Calvin didn't get hurt against the Raiders, that game kind of would have been a upward trend of offense performance as well, or no? Because that, Cardinals' fourth quarter was really good, Raiders game not good, and then Patriots and Colts have been
and he got
steadily
hurt.
Increasing.
He got hurt early.
Mm-hmm.
Right after a catch, too.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe. If everything else seems on offense, because the floor is literally, what's the opposite of the Michael Jordan quote? The ceiling is the roof. The basement is the floor, right? Like that's kind of where we're at, except that one makes more sense. So the basement for the Titans literally is their floor. So there's only up to go. They are the worst offense in almost every metric. And they still are, despite the improvement. But if everything else has taken a step forward here, and Chimere Dike is getting opportunities because Tyler Lockett's not on the field as opposed to Calvin Ridley, then it is reasonable to assume that maybe it doesn't get appreciably better, like they're not a playoff team all of a sudden because Calvin Ridley's out there. But there's reason to believe that maybe Ridley gets better too, or at least Ridley's a better version of himself.
Yeah. But in the meantime, you're getting everything you could ask for from these rookie pass catchers. in my mind, who are less than halfway through their first NFL season. Like, the draft class offensively is showing something to Titans fans. And we were having that discussion yesterday before we got derailed about what are you watching for the rest of the season. I mean, they're the headliners of what you're watching for the rest of the season.
For sure. And there is, like, the only counter to that is, well, somebody has to catch the passes. Like, they're out there. They're getting the most opportunity. Like, you know, NWI hadn't done anything in Miami because there's better wide receivers in Miami than NWI. Here, he was a legitimate option.
No, better than Devontae Adams, I thought.
He is, famously. In the red zone. 9 touchdowns.
We got to run that. We got to do like a best of 2020, or would that have been during 2020? I guess it would have been last year.
Yeah. I mean, that would.
Did you say that?
I for sure did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
He said he would take NWI over Devontae Adams, Michael Pittman, Zay Flower. Like, it was a crazy list.
There was a list.
Ross.
Yeah, it was a list
It was
of
a
like
crazy list.
every good wide receiver you ever thought
George
of.
Pickens, like.
I for sure did
He
that.
wasn't kidding.
Just add it to the bad takes list.
We never asked because that's where KB accused you of not knowing ball. We should have asked him about that yesterday.
We haven't done that yet? He's been in here twice since then.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, so there's an argument to be made that it's just volume because they're out there. Like, they're getting higher percentage snap counts, but it's still, they need that, right? They have to play in order for them to become whatever they're going to become as NFL players. I don't know if Alec Iamaner is going to be a starting wide receiver in 2028, right? Or 2027. Because hopefully you continue to improve the talent profile of the roster to where Alec Iamaner becomes your NWI. But that's not where they are right now. Nate Washington, next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. It makes us happy when we see Nate Washington, when we get to hang out with Nate Washington, who joins us on a regular basis every Thursday. Buddy, thanks for stopping by. So how was the first week as a published author? Are you rocketing up the charts at this point?
Uh-oh.
Can't hear us?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Now you can hear us.
Yes.
All right. We're very excited. I was getting very excited about seeing Football Was My Father, the recently published autobiography of Nate Washington, moving its way up the Amazon bookstore charts.
Yes, man. It's doing well, man. It's been an overwhelming amount of love that I've received since it's come out from family and friends, and obviously people that, aren't directly close to me. It's been definitely humbling. I wasn't expecting to feel the way that I feel after, some of the words that I've received, but it's been gratifying, man, and I'm hoping that it's helping everyone.
I know that people were very excited to see. It's very. I think now, Nate, with a lot of the access that social media provides, or at least the idea of access that social media provides, you're not really getting a lot of real stuff from people, right? You're getting what they project. But I think when you put the kind of effort into a book the way that you did, and with personal stories, and obviously even the cover from the cover of your daughter wearing the jersey and looking out from the suite at Nissan Stadium, like, it's a very, very personal effect, and I think people gravitate towards that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I've already been receiving a lot of understandings that they have similar stories and being able to relate to some of the things in my book. So it's definitely been not only helping some people, but it's been helping me. And it's been great to kind of get my story out there, the good, the bad, the ugly, but, the perseverance and the healing that's come from it. So I'm hoping that it continues to inspire people to continue to heal and continue to do what's best for their future.
We will, of course, Ross, post the link to the Amazon bookstore so people can get Football Was My Father if they have not already gotten their copy today. I am, the bad and the ugly describes this Titan season, but I'm looking for good, Nate. I'm looking for good, not just because I need something to talk about, but because I do think that there are good things that have happened in the last couple of weeks, at least when I watch them on offense, and specific to the young quarterback. So not to make everything for the rest of the season all Cam Ward, but what did you see in the Colts game from him specifically beyond the lopsided result?
Definitely. You're definitely seeing improvement. You're definitely seeing his ability in certain situations to get up to his cadence, understand and direct the defense and see what they're doing and get into the play. That's one of the main things. His comfortability with his pre-snap reads and understanding some of those things. Now, he does have some room to grow and seeing the blitz and adjusting his protection to help him out a little more, but I've definitely seen some growth in that area, and I've also seen some major growth in his footwork. I think he's going back to some of his base foundational things with his footwork and being a little more settled. Obviously, I would love to see him put a little more touch on his passes and find that, esque of his game. But as of right now, the progress with understanding the sense of urgency and cadence, getting the ball out of his hand quick, making quick reads and getting it to the receivers and allowing them to make the play after has been phenomenal of him advancing and progressing in that area. He still has some work to do. In all honesty, I'm still seeing some trust issues with the offensive line and him, and it's understanding. They're all young, they're trying to grow, but the most important thing is the effort of the progression, and I'm seeing a lot from Cam, understanding defenses more and understanding where his ability will be to make plays in a passing game.
Let's go back to the offensive line thing here quickly, because we were at least cautiously optimistic, Nate, when they went out and signed Kevin Zeitler and moved J.C. Latham to the right side, which is supposed to be more natural, and paid at least, in his career, a league average left tackle in Dan Moore, because if you just get to league average as a unit, that's progress for the Titans offensive line. But there's been a lot of disappointing things this year. I don't know if I'm not most disappointed in the offensive line not even meeting the standard, the very low bar that I feel like we set for them.
Yeah, I'm as a former player, I understand you're gonna have good and bad plays, right? You know, you're gonna have plays where I've had plays where I was wide open and dropped the ball, right? But I think never came into question my effort, and that's the main thing when you look at this offensive line in the trenches of what they have going on. It's from play one, I turn on the game, and from play one, I see a guy that just lacks understanding of I think the run play, the stretch play to the right. Doesn't get his reach block, and a play is made in the backfield. And it was that time after time of watching those plays, some of those plays actually from the Indianapolis game. And, so while some things can be technique, I think some things are just pure effort. A lot of times I'm seeing them drop kick, get into their engagement, make contact, and then they just stop. And there was a couple plays that I had to rewind more than 5-6 times because I'm looking like this isn't a technique issue. This is effort. Finish the play. And that was an issue on multiple occasions from a number of guys. I know JC has been under scrutiny and rightfully so, a young guy needing to grow up, needing to understand the sense of urgency of this level of the game. But in the same sense, I turn on the film and Christianberry is doing the same thing. I've seen a lot of misdirection, a lot of ill-advised blocks when he was in perfect position due to alignment in itself, just playing patty cake in a lot of ways, and it's not acceptable. You have to have guys that have a passion and an anger and a want to when they're in those trenches. And I'm just not seeing it from this offensive line. They're going to need some more passion towards this game, some more understanding that they're protecting a first-round draft pick, and it's important for him to be healthy in order for this team to grow.
Well, that's frustrating to hear because, Nate, we've talked a little bit about this before, the idea of a lot of the Titans' opponents commenting on effort or energy or their observations of, how the team comes out of pregame introductions and stuff like that, like the Colts sniffing them out in week 3 because they're like, they don't have any juice. Let's go beat them. We had Bullock in here with us yesterday, and he was talking about the idea that it's tough as a vet to look at a rookie who's got a Captain C on his chest and maybe take that guy completely serious because that rookie hasn't seen what you've seen in the NFL, and he can't tell you how you should manage situations because he has not yet gone through those things himself. That was my hope for a pretty veteran offensive line group across the board, that they would be the ones to kind of set the tone that way. And it sounds like, at least from your observations watching this team, that it's not evident on the field.
No, yeah, definitely. But because, and we addressed this, previously with the Michael Pittman situation in this statement, but, kind of referring to the overall aspect and outlook of, the energy of this team, you don't need rah-rah guys, but you definitely need guys that when you turn on that film and you see them making the plays that they need to make, that there's energy in their plays. There's a passion and motion in, their plays, and you just don't see it, I see the young guy, J.C. Latham, kind of bouncing around after tackles are made and trying to help guys up in those type of situations, and kudos to him. But, that's the groundwork of actually doing your job with a passion. And, a lot of their effort towards, especially up front with the offensive line, a lot of their effort towards their job and their approach has been very lackluster. It's been very, I'm just here to do my job today as you turn on the film. And it's unfortunate because, as you said, you bring in Brian Callahan, you bring in the veterans from Ziegler to Dan Moore, and you're expecting more out of their understanding of where this game lies. And I just don't see the energy and passion and want to in their game. I'm not here to speak on what's being said on the sideline or what's going on, but I do know as a former player that when you cut on that film, you see a very lackluster team going through the motions, and they have to stop doing that.
At NWash85 is where he exists on social media. You can find Football Was My Father, of course, on his social media platforms. You can find the link to his recently published book as well. Nate Washington visited with us and talking some tape.
We talk all the time about, especially in a season like this, Nate, having to block out the outside noise, all of these things as the Titans will be looking for a new head coach, the trade deadline coming up in a few days. But with the trade deadline, for a guy like Chigakonkwo, who has seen draft classmates go out the door and is one of the last remaining of those guys that are in their last year that were drafted by the Titans last year of the rookie contract, how hard is that really to do? To just block that out and say, nope, that's not up to me. You know, if I'm playing for whoever, Los Angeles, New York, Vegas, a week from now, then I'm playing for them a week from now. But I feel like that's so much easier said than done, Nate, just from a human level.
Yeah, definitely it is, Zach, man. I recall going through a similar situation. I think it was either my 5th or 6th year in Tennessee, and, you know, there was beginning speculations that I would be traded, you know, and it affected me emotionally. To be honest, I recall times of going out to practice, and as the team would go on break from drills and everybody would be on one sideline, I was going all the way to the other sideline. And Chris Johnson and Kendall Wright at the time would come check on me, but I just wasn't talking to nobody at practice. I wasn't talking to nobody at work, and it affected me mentally. But, you know, when it came down to doing my job, there was never a question. And I truly believe that that was the reason why my coaching staff at that time allowed me to vent in an emotional way, that way of kind of separating myself, not talking to anyone. Although I knew I was causing a distraction in a way, I wasn't going off. I wasn't, becoming belligerent through the locker room or doing anything like that. So they allowed me to vent in that way because they knew that I was showing up, and every day they were going to get hard work for me no matter what was going on. And it took Russ at the time, the GM, to come up to me one of the practices and kind of put his hand on my back, and he said, I know you've been hearing about the talk, but trust me, you're not going anywhere. And that allowed me to relax a little bit, to go back in the locker room and kind of continue to mix and mingle with your teammates. But it's definitely, as you said, there's a human nature that comes to it, and there's a loyalty that comes toward the work that you put in as a player. You want to continue to be in that environment. I had my wife there at the time. My daughter was in school. My foundation was heavily involved in the community. So I had a lot of attachment to Nashville at the time. And, as a person, I didn't want to leave. I wasn't seeing it as a business opportunity to go somewhere else and have a better opportunity at success at the game and winning the Super Bowl with the team. I didn't see it that way. It was a lot of personal feelings included with that, especially being the young man that I was at the time. So I'm sure that Chig has some thoughts of his name being, discussed and mentioned in trade rumors. But as I stated with my story, there's still a job to be done. And I think he understands that as well. As human as we can be, we have to be professionals first. And that's the way you keep your job, unfortunately. So with all the feelings that you may have, you have to go in every day at work, put in the same effort that you would be putting in if you were headed to the Pro Bowl. And I'm hoping that's what he's doing.
Well, Chig is one of the few, I suppose you could call him a veteran, pass catchers left that are playing right now, Nate, as the rookies have kind of taken over in the last 2 weeks. And we talked to you a little bit about Chimere Dike last week, and he one-upped himself now back-to-back weeks of 70-plus receiving yards, of leading the team, a career-high 93 receiving yards last Sunday in Indianapolis. What kind of opportunities are you seeing Chim get down the field that he wasn't before that have helped him on his way to taking a little bit of a midseason leap as an option for Cam Ward?
Well, his best tool right now is kind of being that, unknown guy coming into these games from opposing defenses, not being drafted high, not having a big name. It gives him an opportunity to just go play freely. And that's exactly what he's been doing. With his ability and his speed, in itself, it gives a different tool for this offense. Ellick being the size he is, a little more strict in his run ability and not being as agile as Chimere. I think Chimere just brings a unique dynamic, an explosion to this offense in the pass game that they haven't had. Obviously with Calvin being sidelined, the number of weeks that he's been sidelined, you don't really get those catches from this receiver core that may be able to hit for an extra 10, 15, 20 yards. And that's exactly what he's been providing. He's been running away from defenders with his crossing routes. I've been impressed that they've been able to catch those teams in man-to-man coverage and take advantage of that. And he's been doing well with run after the catch. So I'm, as I said with, Ellick, I think Ellick has taken maybe a couple steps back for me, but, he's still on pace to be able to be a reliable asset for this team. But watching Shamir grow and this, step back from Alec has been gratifying because they're going to need each other. It's going to be iron sharpening iron through their whole career with the Titans. And they're definitely going to need each other to be able to be successful. So to be able to see Shamir step up in these moments is great. And I'm looking forward to the opportunity that he'll have moving forward.
I know you're locked into these young guys watching the Titans every Sunday, obviously paying attention to what the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing as well. But I am curious if you have an answer to this. Is there a team right now in the NFL that offensively you're having the most fun watching at the moment with what they're doing?
Oh, man. I would say a number of them. I've been loving what Tampa Bay's been doing. Baker's been doing down there with the guys that he's had out, and still the production that he's able to, amidst in this situation has been amazing. I've been amazed at, what Sam has been able to do in Seattle with Jackson Smith and Njoku. Like, he's been coming along, and their game has been coming along as well. I think they've been doing some good things. But there's been a number of teams. Also, as much as I can't believe I'm about to say this because I am an advocate Cowboys hater, but Dak has been playing very well this year.
Really well.
He's been playing very well, and I think obviously with having George down there and Lamb has been beneficial for him to go put up some major numbers. So I think as the league has always wanted, offense has been on high for a number of teams, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
How about your boy Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh right now?
Your boy.
Yeah, it is. And it's been kind of fun this year, Nate. I know they lost last weekend and to the Bengals too, but I also got to get your take on those throwback jerseys that they were wearing against Green Bay.
Let me first say this. I'm headed to Pittsburgh tomorrow for our 20th year reunion for our first Super Bowl in 2005, the 40th year Super Bowl 40. I'm excited about that, to see everybody. And I have to admit, man, in the offseason in the spring, when we suggested that we may get Aaron, I was kind of disgruntled, man. I didn't want the headache. I didn't want the news. I didn't want the off the field, obstacles and all those things. But, man, he has definitely been a breath of fresh air for that organization right now and giving them stability in that quarterback position that we haven't had in a couple of years. And in all honesty, I'm hoping that he'll be willing to sign back from 2026, man, because we haven't had this in a number of years. And if I'm honest, I love him to death, but even at the back end of Ben's career, it's kind of tough, as a fan rooting for that team, So to have Aaron playing at the rate he's playing right now, I hope we find another pass catcher before it's too late, for this offense. But, even still, him being able to do what he's been able to do with this offense thus far has definitely been impressive.
It would have been crazy if they kept Pickens.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine?
Well, that's the thing. Like all the stuff about George Pickens and attitude and like Mike Tomlin has put up with so many different kinds of players in his career. Like, everybody just assumed if Tomlin can't deal with this guy, what the hell is Dallas about to get? He's been a perfect soldier in Dallas. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, well, sometimes that new scenery is a change and a wake-up call for a lot of guys, even for some guys that you wouldn't expect it from. They understand that this may be their last opportunity if they don't do it right, So kudos to him for George going down to Dallas and making sure he's doing things the right way and keeping his names out of the negativity and, the bad, flags that he would get at times and those things. But he's been doing well, and it seems that his attitude is in the right place, so good for him.
Your defense isn't in the right place in Pittsburgh, though. That's
no, it's not.
It's a lot of man coverage for a team that can't play man. Yeah, listen. This one we just kind of like. There's nobody left on defense. Nate. Like I don't even know what to do with the Titans defense. But we do appreciate Nate Washington's time as always at NWash85. Football Was My Father, available in the Amazon bookstore right now. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, fellas. I'll see you later, man.
Thanks, Nate.
Nate Washington with us. Hattie B's is here. Last call for phone calls. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, and Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
Welcome back to the show. Fueled by, literally, Eddie B's Hot Chicken. What do you have? Show people. Right this instant.
A Southern salad. Cornbread croutons, black-eyed peas, grilled chicken, cheese.
It's getting ravaged.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big
corn. Oh, that black-eyed pea salad. So good. Bacon bits.
Well, I have black-eyed pea salad alone. Like, I don't have the Southern salad, but I have the black-eyed pea salad, and then I have my grilled tenders, which make me very happy. Ross is back there with his ketchup and fries like a child.
All right, okay. I did not get ketchup. I'm no child.
Double fries is not childish?
Kevin is eating the other thing of fries, so one fry. I also would like to say that I offered you another side if you wanted it, because I didn't want to, and you did not take that offer, so.
Thursday Night Football tonight in Murfreesboro.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, shut up.
That's what we're talking about, right? Battle of the Borough tonight. Oakland versus Riverdale, My TV 30.
Straight into the microphone.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
I don't think I've ever done that.
7 p.m.
Whoa. I had to fight that one.
We've got a Tennessee commit, an Ole Miss commit.
What was that noise you just made?
My mic was off.
Stop doing that. That's very unpleasant. So you are on My TV 30 tonight as opposed to Friday?
It is a Thursday night version of Friday Night Rivals, one of the biggest rivalries in Middle Tennessee.
There's one bigger playing tonight, just saying.
Oh, okay. The Battle of the Woods.
Exactly.
Is that tonight, too?
Yeah.
A lot of Thursday games.
How many local Nashville or Middle Tennessee high school football games have like a name for the rivalry? Because I feel like, I mean, I'm sure there are other places where high school football is played at a high level that's the case, but like I don't ever remember having like named rivalries in high school.
Centennial Franklin's the Battle of Franklin, I think.
I know Clarksville Rossview is the battle for the Warfield Shield.
Oh, we have like a Civil War complex down here. Like everything's got to be a war.
I mean, it just
Football,
means
the
more.
battle?
It just means more.
That's not.
The battle for Tin Roof on Demumbrian.
Well, I fought that battle many a time and lost.
Oh, I'm trying to think. How many others can I think of? But, yeah, I am looking forward to this game. Oakland has been a juggernaut all season. This Oakland defense has allowed one rushing touchdown all year. they have shut out 6 of their 9 opponents. And they face a very pass-heavy Riverdale offense with a young quarterback in Gavin Hampton that's collecting some impressive offers. So this is going to be a fun game. 7 p.m. will be on the air on my TV 30.
Robert is in Miami Gardens for Thursday Night Football between the visiting Ravens, his Ravens, and the Dolphins. Both teams have 2 wins. Miami with 1 more loss. Baltimore needs this for their season. They're favored by almost a touchdown. Lamar Jackson is playing for the first time in several weeks. Ravens should dominate this game, right?
Should. Dolphins played well last week.
Tua played well.
He did. 4 touchdown passes.
Tua had a nice day.
It's like, how do you think Lamar's going to look, though? Can he run like normal with the hamstring?
And he's also like, some of the turnovers that he's had, because he's under duress. Like, their offensive line situation is bad. Or at least relative to like other contenders. So I don't know that they should be favored on the road by a full touchdown, but like, it's such a weird thing, the idea of the Dolphins winning this game.
If they do, Mike McDaniel will deserve a ton of credit.
Will he?
Yes, for digging them out. Like, I don't know if there was a team with worse vibes than the Dolphins. They looked
Why is that a
lifeless.
Mike McDaniel thing, though? Why does he get credit for that?
Why doesn't he? He's the head coach of the football team. Like, again, if we're going to speak
the best teams, every player will tell you, are player-led. Why wouldn't the players get credit for that?
Sure, but then we're just going to speak in absolutes. The head coach, yeah, you're right.
But their players weren't showing up to meetings.
The head coach and play caller will have had absolutely nothing to do with it.
I'm not speaking in extremes. I'm just saying, like, why would he deserve a ton of credit? Like, the ton of credit for Mike McDaniel in that situation is extreme. Like, sure, does he deserve credit? Fine. But, like, Mike McDaniel doesn't get a gold star because they're 3-5? It's crazy.
You are ridiculous.
Well, if they put up like another
I have to be. Nobody else on his show is. Come on.
If they put up another big offensive performance, then I think, yes, he should deserve a lot of
Yeah,
credit.
I mean, context is important. Like, if they go out there and hang 70 on the Ravens.
Like, what did they start? Like 1-4, 1-5? It's like if they win 2 out of 3, including the Ravens and Lamar Jackson at home, and have a competent offense after looking dead in the water, why should the head coach deserve any credit?
You're acting like
say that.
You're acting like he's just standing there on the sideline and like vaping or something.
He doesn't know ball, though, famously, right?
He doesn't deserve as much blame as he got. He doesn't deserve as much credit as he got.
Oh, now you want to be nuanced. Look at you. Growth.
James is in Nashville.
What's up, guys?
Not much.
Not much. First off, go Riverdale, go. It's Jokeland. They're cheaters. But anyways,
fight
a little smack talk on this Thursday.
Love it.
Oh hell yeah! I went to school there, so.
Well, I would hope it would be weird if you were doing that without going to school there.
Very true. Anyways, the Steelers with having Nate Washington on. Talking about the defense. Honestly, they haven't won a playoff game since I was a sophomore in high school, and really, this sounds really sappy and everything, but I'm really tired of going 9-8 every single year. So honestly, I think if the Steelers don't make the playoffs, I think it might be time to move on from Mike Tomlin. Because at the end of the day, that's his defense. Everybody knows it. He just won't admit it.
Well, thank you for the call. I'm sorry for your burden of going 9-8 every year. I would like to go 9-8 every year. That sounds nice.
It does
Mike
sound
Tomlin
nice.
doesn't win enough.
Yeah, it's not something that other fan bases exactly want to hear.
I'm sick of it.
James, can I fancy you a team in Nashville for a change?
9 wins? It's been so long. I feel like that Titanic meme. It's been 84 years.
It's like when Robert demanding John Harbaugh be fired.
It's nonsense.
You know what I mean? Like
The level of expectation across different franchises.
He got so mad at me off the air the other day because I was, he was animated about the Roger McCreary trade, and I was needling him a little bit afterwards and being like, well, what's the difference between Titans fans getting emotional and you getting emotional after the Ravens lose to the Bills? It's like, it's not the same thing. He starts yelling at me, like clearly upset. I'm just sitting back here cackling.
God forbid the Ravens had a Titans-esque season at one point.
Can you imagine?
Oof.
Can you imagine? The entire NFL would stop. We all picked them to win the Super Bowl. Not just us, but like I feel like the Ravens were the most popular Super Bowl pick this year. Anyway, Who would the polls have been presented by if we did polls today?
Two Rivers Ford.
All right, very good. The South's most trusted Ford dealer. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Prime time will be a little early tonight. Jesus, Ross.
Sorry, I was expecting polls.
Prime time.
You didn't tweet them.
Lucas did. At 7 tonight. Actually, a little earlier because there's Thursday Night Football. See ya.